Next episode. No, that's not why we're here.
We haven't watched the episode yet.
Yeah, we're here before we even watch it. We haven't watched it. We're just.
Left coast is the best coast.
We back. We in effect. What? We back.
What?
We back. Oh man, you lose, dog. All right, you out. Next round.
Sabine and Ahsoka seem lost and soon we'll be stranded out here.
Oh, wonderful. We have a problem.
Explain the nature of this mission.
Well, we're not going anywhere until I know exactly what happened here.
Don't you hear it? There's something out there, Mom.
Sabine and Ahsoka seem lost and soon we'll be stranded out
We only need to see that once, right?
Yeah.
So yeah, they dropped a trailer last night. A little quickie. Now streaming, episode 5. And then another little one later on, which I'm going to play that right now too, just to get us going.
I didn't expect to see you so soon.
Anakin.
I'm here to finish your training. As Jedi, it's our job to lead. I know you can do this, Ahsoka. Come on, Snips. The battle's not over yet. Don't be afraid. And trust your instincts. I didn't expect to see you so soon.
I gotta get my food.
Turn the loop off. So that one, I really like that one today. It's Anakin narrating over, classic Star Wars music. I think sounds really good, man. It got me a little bit excited.
I was super emotional last night. I'm not even gonna lie. Somebody was cutting onions in my house, and the tears were flowing. Rick,
Who's that? Was that your girlfriend that was cutting onions?
Somebody was cutting onions. Somebody was cutting onions in multiple houses last night, because I know a bunch of people that were just sitting there, just, oh my God, they were flowing.
there was no onion cutting going on in my household, but I did laugh out loud twice in a row during this episode, and I think that's pretty fantastic. Like,
I was like a kid last night.
It's got to be decently funny for me to be sitting here alone and laugh out loud at some entertainment. So I did.
I could have ran around my house and my neighborhood screaming at the top of my lungs last night, yes, because literally everything, pretty much everything that I've wanted to see, we got to see last night, which was incredible to me.
Yeah, I think what everyone wanted to see for sure was, more of the Anakin stuff and what it was.
Especially Clone Wars Anakin. Like I was saying to you before we even started, I honestly felt like this was the best interpretation of Anakin that we've gotten in live action. We saw this Anakin in Clone Wars, but we've never gotten to see it in the movies. Even in Return of the Sith and Revenge of the Sith and Attack of the Clones, there's that weird gap where if you just watched those movies and never saw Clone Wars, you might still be skeptical as to how did this guy turn evil, and then you see it this way with the dual personality of Vader and Anakin, and oh my God, that shined through so perfectly, and he just absolutely killed it. I was so happy.
Yeah, me too. I was quite impressed with the great Canadian actor Hayden Christensen.
A fellow, two Canadians in
his role of young Anakin Skywalker.
Two. You got two Canadians representing.
And also, his iconic role of Darth Vader. We saw him do that in Kenobi, and so we got a little bit of that in this episode. Whether it's just a little switchery through the Flash and
that scene though, him walking through. Oh my God! And we got to see Toth, which was the planet from Clone Wars, the movie. which was their first like interaction with one another. Then we got to see Ryloth, which we saw. I'm assuming one of those people standing there were supposed to be Hera's father, because like that's where Cham Syndulla was from, and that was he was leading the Ryloth movement. So like really cool.
So,
and then you see Rex in Phase 1 and Phase 2 armor. Man, fantastic.
Gerard wins. He was first. He was here first. He wins any prize that we're all giving away today. Mr. Rolando with many O's at the end. Welcome.
What's up, Rolando?
My question on that scene with the Ahsoka stuff. Ways, give me what season was that? I thought was that season 1?
The Toth season, the Toth episode, like the very beginning, was from the animated movie, I believe. And then Ryloth was, I want to say, like towards the end of season 1, like episode 18.
Because I looked it up to verify it, and because I was like, that's not the outfit she wore in season 1.
Yeah,
so
no, they changed the outfit, but I thought they did that because they didn't want a young girl in a tube top. I mean,
they did that because the actress was so damn short and small that they had to like make a little child's uniform. Yeah, we'll get to
and then the last one,
details when we
the Secret Mandalore, which we saw in the final of Clone Wars.
I loved seeing my favorite thing is seeing the troopers and stuff run by, and I loved where they had the paint on their helmets and stuff. And
the Mandalorians looked.
And Rex was there with his double pistols. I was like, show me more of this. I want a whole episode of a battle done in live.
Honestly, after seeing that last night, I would take a live-action Clone Wars. Like,
that's what I mean. Yeah.
Give me Anakin, give me Obi-Wan. Let's bring them all back and let's do live-action Clone Wars. Like, give me.
Well, I don't care if you just
but at the same time,
redo an episode.
The they showed of like Clone Wars and Siege of Mandalore, those kind of memories and stuff like that. Those were very artsy. Like it was like. Just a
because it was a memory. I think that's why.
And we saw like 1 clone trooper and then 2 and then maybe 3 on the screen. We didn't see like the epic, Clone Wars that we saw in episode 1.
I would have loved to see them all
with thousands of CGI actors fighting more thousands of CGI actors.
I think it was a choice.
This was actors in clone trooper costumes and stuff, running towards the camera, running around the camera, smoke and lights, action. Explosions. It was cool. I like that. I don't want to see that for 2 hours. I want to see it just like they showed it to us in that little artsy, kind of form. I thought it was pretty cool. I tried to get some good
2 hours. Give me 5 hours.
Give me 10 hours.
Yeah,
I'd sit there and watch the whole thing. Like I was a kid in a candy shop last night. Like I was literally like the smile on my face and the way I lit up, and then like literally I couldn't help it. I was telling Rick before, somebody was cutting onions in my house, John. I couldn't hold it back. It was very emotional for me, especially being like a Clone Wars fan and growing up with those shows.
And speaking of space whales, why didn't over the past 10 years, not once did dude think about riding a space whale back? Ezra? 10 years?
I would love
chained up in a dungeon. I hope we find out at least why, because
I'm going to stand by.
He's ridden the space whales, like mounted them.
Yeah,
in the cartoons. Like it's a thing that you can do.
Do you remember how Vader came down on the top of the TIE fighter in the Rebels episode?
Yeah, in the cartoon as well. Yeah.
I would love to see Ezra do something like that with like the space whales, like show up on the back of a space whale and just like float down in front of somebody and like lightsaber ignited. That would be so awesome. But I still
Angelina's thinking here. It would be pretty cool to see a Luke and Anakin Force Ghost moment.
I thought we were going to get like some sort of
that, right?
I thought we were going to get some sort of like indication from her, like I've met your kids, like I know Luke, like something along those lines.
It was just like a dream, right? It wasn't like a conversation.
Yeah, but
with, like,
real
it was Anakin who's dead.
I don't know though, because Anakin saying I don't remember this. No, I'm just saying, like, I think it's more so a mix of both. I think it's her memories and the manifestation in the Force from the world between worlds of Anakin. Like, I think it actually is Anakin, but I don't know. Only because of that line. That line leads me to believe that like that was somehow, some way, like Anakin.
I know what you mean. Like I don't think it was what everyone was led to believe is the animated world between worlds, where it's like, you know, real people in a little area.
Between worlds, but it was more so herself kicking herself like almost into like life support system.
In her head. It's all in her head.
It was yeah, but that's what I mean. It was almost like herself kicking herself into life support.
In the Dagobah cave, it's only what you take with you.
Well, yeah. And I agree with you there, but I think she was actually like in the world. I think like subconsciously she was there. You know what I mean? Like it might have not. She might have been in the water the whole entire time, but I still think.
Yeah, and I'm thinking she's got like
actually there.
When we see her naked bald head later, it looks like she's got like little tentacles.
Well, those are the ears.
So it's
those
I've never seen those before because they're always wearing a headdress.
They're always wearing headpieces. Yeah,
it was very. A minute there, I'm like,
it was very alarming.
Did they forget to edit this scene and put on like, did they make a mistake? But
it was a little alarming because you go back and you're like, wait, something's off here and I can't place it, and then you realize like, oh yeah, she's not wearing her headdress, and then but it was different. I loved it, man. I absolutely loved it. Like,
so John's cooking us dinner. He said he's gonna dish us up a plate of, I don't know, fish, favorite dish. So I don't know, but we'll give him a minute to come back. I think I've said hello to all the cool kids in the chat.
So what was your favorite part from the episode? Because I know like you've watched Clone Wars and Rebels, but you're not the biggest, fan of them.
Oh no, I watched it all, and I am a fan of it all. I'm just not.
You know what I mean, though. Like that's not your
cartoons and episode 1, 2, and 3 came out. I was born when R2-D2 and Luke and Darth Vader came out. So this was my favorite part of the episode.
Anakin. You look the same.
You look old.
By far, my favorite part of the episode. I thought Hayden was brilliant, man. And I'm glad the few minutes was Hayden on the screen, and we do get to see him over, I don't know, a 15-minute period in a couple of haircuts and styles and stuff. And that blew me away. So that was by far my favorite part of the episode was seeing actual actor Hayden Christensen playing Anakin.
And he really
Anakin. Either way, it was pretty badass, I think.
And you could tell that he watched Matt Lanter's performance. Like he watched Clone Wars before he came back to do this.
Maybe not. I would think more Matt watched Hayden's movies
but
times.
You can see that
watched Clone Wars twice.
He changed his cadence and the way he spoke to match Matt Lanter's cadence from Clone Wars.
I think there's a little digital going on there as well.
Yeah.
And what I've also made it work was a lot of times they would show him like a little bit in the shadows.
Oh,
or a little bit from the back speaking to her, and I'm like, that works, man. Like,
they did clever framing on the so they could do the least amount of editing and post work. But like what we were saying earlier with the amount of stuff troopers, the way that was done, the way this Anakin was shot, I think all of it was, we've got a budget. How much can we fit in with the budget we got to make it the best quality we can do? You know what I mean? Because if they could have,
Disney has a budget on anything they make.
They do.
If it's like
everybody has a budget when you
I need an extra $3 million.
No,
they're not
everybody has a budget. Every production, every single thing has a budget.
Like, if you're Dave Filoni or Kathleen Kennedy or Jon Favreau, and you're 5 years after the most successful show they've ever done on Disney Plus, The Mandalorian, and you say, we need an extra $3 million, you know to that.
Well, I think now after
if that's the
So
case,
there's
Rick,
no budget
then
when it
if
comes to
that's
Disney produced product. Period.
the case, then the first time you saw Anakin, he would have been perfect. The reason he looked a
That
little
was weird.
because of budget. They said let's save the money for the next episode because we're only
Yeah,
going to see
babe.
him for 2 seconds.
And they shot him. They shot him from afar and said,
If they had an unlimited budget, those Clone Wars scenes wouldn't have been fuzzy. They would have been full-on battles with 1,000 troopers against
it's fuzzy
1,000
because it's in her head and it's like a dream and memories. It's not real. That's why it's fuzzy as well. That's it's not a theory. That's probable.
The choice because they had a budget. If they didn't have a budget, it would have been a full-on
true. But to be honest,
battle with
it's free
to
have 100 guys there in stormtrooper and clone trooper armors. It's free because all those people are all volunteer, like if they need it. So
and like Rick was saying, I think that stylistic choice was a choice because of the way they wanted to interpret it. They wanted to show you that this is almost a dream sequence. That this is not.
G-Force and Gerard, you probably still have time to go watch it a fourth time while we're live, and you can catch us at the end.
I'm right there. I watched it. I watched it twice last night after it aired, and then I watched it right as soon.
Fabulous. Hope we're doing well,
right
dude.
before we came on.
So let's get into it.
Let's get right into it. Let's not waste some more time.
Part 5. So, as suspected, Hera lands on the Cetos planet, or as Ahsoka pronounced it, Seatos. So it sounds a little bit like Seattle. So that's how it's pronounced, I guess, in the basic language.
Which isn't too far from you, right? You're close to there.
And I was wondering, from the trailers and some of the stills we've seen of Hera coming out like Han Solo style with the blaster, like who she pointed at, and we do find out who she's pointed at.
Hu Yang. I love him. David Tennant's doing a phenomenal job too. I don't think he's getting enough credit, but he's really like carrying this show by being the humor in certain situations. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I think for sure his character and Carson Teva's character, as we've seen in this episode, are the literal, and Chopper in a sense, the comic relief of the show. Which Dino, that's why Carson Teva's in the show, because he's a funny dude.
That was
I like the gears. I thought the gears was pretty neat. We didn't get to see much of that last time. But so Hera comes out.
Yeah, this.
And I didn't notice in the stills that little Jason's actually small enough he can hide behind Chopper.
Yeah.
It's
I love that. She like hides him right behind her, and like Chopper's like, the best. Your babysitter's a war criminal, and you expect your kid to turn out okay.
Yeah, well, if Chopper being a good babysitter or not, Hera will not win Mom of the Space Mom of the Year award after abandoning your son on a planet while going to fly over the ocean.
Come on, she was right next door.
She was up in there. Everyone left the planet except the kid and the robot.
No, they didn't. They were just out in the water. That's like saying when you were a kid, if your mom went next door, she abandoned you. If she went to the neighbors.
Well, okay, maybe they didn't leave the planet, but they left the surface of the planet. They went in their space. Just go in the ship with them. What does it?
Do you know?
For fuel?
Do you know when I was 9 years old, my parents put me on an airplane by myself and I went to Phoenix, Arizona. They said, where would you like to go? And I said, I've always thought Phoenix looked pretty cool. And they went, good, you can take a vacation. Because they were basically getting divorced and they were working through stuff and they didn't want us kids around. So they put me and my brother on an airplane and we flew. I flew with my brother to Phoenix. We spent a week in Phoenix by ourselves at a hotel. And we had a credit card my dad gave us that was unlimited, so we could just buy food and go do stuff. And we wandered around the city.
As a kid, maybe 10, flew to Eastern Canada. We were in
kids that age can handle themselves and do stuff on their own. Believe me, you don't. They're not abandoned.
The world's a much different place though now, John. Now there's a lot more worries than with like a kid, especially like than there is for than there was at that time.
We didn't see any scars on Ahsoka's hand though, but
No, I was expecting to see like that's how she was going to get the map, was that it was going to be burned to her hand, but I like the way they did it.
So is this foreshadowing?
So you want me to talk about it now? Because I'm starting to agree with your theory that Sabine might be a goner by the time this season's over. Like I think she might get that reunion with Ezra, and like that might be it for her. I have a feeling, especially the way Ahsoka like, oh, Jason's here, and like her eyes like lit up, like almost
Yeah.
like that. They're foreshadowing that maybe
And
Jason's.
as far as I
you
know, we have not seen Ahsoka and Jason ever on the same screen before,
No,
even in cartoon, because
this was the first time.
took
Yeah.
off or whatever.
Yeah, no, this was the first time we saw them together, so that's why I was interested. And then Hu Yang, saying what he said, to Carson Teva, I love that. Like the Kanan Jarrus drop, which we kind of were waiting for, but we finally got. Like he's like his father was a Jedi, Kanan Jarrus, and he's like he's got
For
special left movies.
spaceship parking experts, where is his ship parked, or her ship?
In the woods, though. Ahsoka's ship
Where?
was
'Cause
still.
it wasn't right beside the Ghost when it parked on the big
because
platform.
they weren't parked by the they parked in the woods. Remember, they landed the ship because it crashed. Well, not crashed, but the electric went out.
It parked further away and walked there.
Yeah, they were out like in the forest and then made their way to the ruins, and then what do you call it?
For all we know, Ezra could already be dead. I'm not
He's not.
suggesting he's dead. I'm just saying he very well could be, because
I think
up right at the beginning, for 10 years, what is he doing? Why isn't he riding space whales all over the galaxy? Because
I still think we're gonna get the swerve at the end of this season, and this episode really made me feel it even more. Is that like him and Thrawn are gonna be working together? And
Yeah, they're working together. I still stand by that too.
I'm still under that belief, especially after this last episode and the things that Anakin said to her about like things not being cut and dry sometimes, and like you need to use your instincts, and you need to follow these things. And like I still think like she's gonna get there, she's gonna get to Thrawn, and right as she's about to either kill Thrawn or whatever, I think Ezra intervenes at that point, and that's when we see Ezra.
Do you see Ezra and Sabine's relationship more as brother sister, or like maybe a little bit of lovey-dovey?
It's brother sister, yeah.
See, I don't. I see it as he got a crush on her.
I
would love to see
I think there's a little bit of lovey-dovey going on.
I would love to see like an actual love story in Star Wars for once, and like see them get some sort of happy ending for a little while at least.
Just not brother and sister love.
No, not brother and sister love. That might be illegal in a couple star systems. That might be illegal in some star systems. I don't know. We don't know the rules and the parameters for that.
It's fully legal in the other galaxy.
But I would definitely like. Ezra had a crush on her when they first met, and then Sabine grew the crush vice versa, like where Ezra was maturing, and you could see that like she loves him. Like I think it's a lot more than brother sister, but I don't know if we're gonna get to see that, because so far in everything, Star Wars has yet to give us any kind of happy like moment of like these two love each other and they're gonna be together. Like even Han and Leia, they found a way to keep them apart, in the future. So it's interesting.
So the Shadow Warrior is the name of this episode, and I kind of like that those don't get leaked, like the titles of these episodes. Sometimes they do.
Yeah.
In this case, this year, I don't think any of the titles have been leaked. Just some of the 52 minutes or some of the times.
Some of the run times and stuff. Yeah, that was
and
about
some
it.
of the major scenes. But I like the titles, at least a surprise for me. So it's pretty cool because that makes me think right away. Oh, okay, Shadow Warrior. Is that Anakin? Is that the Balin character who we didn't see at all? Can
I say something about that? So like I was really expecting, because we only have 2 episodes left, and Anakin has this little conversation with her. I almost expected Anakin to like fill her in about Balin, because when she says like Balin's skull, and he's like, so you do remember. I almost expected him to like follow up like, Balin, I knew Balin this way, and like just give us a little something of Balin in passing, so then we could get.
That'll be in a rematch, because I think the rematch coming for sure. And
to
one or both of them are dying.
To get G-Force's comment that just popped across, So like even the actor made a joke that thank you for allowing me to play a hologram. So
That's
like
right.
he's
That's it.
definitely showing up in the end of the season, but it's gonna
I
play.
still don't know how he fits in the same outfit for 10 years, man. Like that's insane.
I don't think he's not gonna be in the same outfit. I don't think. I think we're gonna see.
You
I
got
would
the
love
action figure of him,
Yeah, but that's from
and
Rebels.
he's in the hologram wearing the same orange jumpsuit
From Lothal,
he was
though, and
as an
that's what
8-year-old kid.
that's what that's referenced as. It's listed as the Lothal. So I'm assuming just like we got a character change for Ahsoka, and we're gonna get a new figure for that, which I absolutely love the white, the blue, and the
I'm gonna
gray.
go out on a limb and say this Peridia or the whatever planet, because they have to be on a planet, Thrawn and Ezra and whatever. Like,
Yeah,
sure
yeah.
floating in space in another
Just
galaxy.
out in the middle of nowhere. Yeah.
When we did see Thrawn in the trailer, like that one scene that's the back of his head walking towards the front window, we do see some mountains. There's some mountains out the window, so we know that's not Seattle.
A lot of people jumped right away thinking that was.
We didn't see any mountains there, so it's another planet, and I'm assuming in that other galaxy where brother and sister sex is cool, they have clothes. So I'm assuming like Ezra can have some new clothes tailored for him.
I kind of hope he's got like a long beard and like longer hair again. Like I think that would be cool. Like like being
now Dino's talking nice about Paul.
Yeah.
I'm gonna tell Paul you're saying bad things about him in private chat.
But I definitely think we're gonna get a different look for Ezra, and then I love the new look for Ahsoka, like that color scheme of the outfit and the light grays with the blues.
There's a very public diss from White Shadow to Super John.
Yeah, I know he doesn't like me.
Payback, John. Payback.
Chip and I are mortal enemies. That's why.
So here's one of the best lines in the episode. Correct me. Am I wrong? Was this? Did anyone else laugh out loud when this?
Oh yeah, I popped. I think this is when I started crying. Honestly, this moment right here, like with the you look old. I just was like, this is Anakin, guys. This is fucking Anakin.
This was only like 8 seconds in.
Why don't
and 4 of them were like a repeat of last week, and then he says the line, and I'm just like, that was freaking cool, man. Like, what a opening to your show. Like, even though there was other scenes before, but for this scenario, I thought it was pretty badass, man. I was quite impressed.
Yeah, I just so good, so good.
My slideshow, where to go?
I'm working on Jason Syndulla next. That's the next one. I'm gonna kit bash and make.
You don't need to make any Anakin figures, and they don't need to release any new ones.
Oh yes, they do. Yes, they do.
We all have him. Now we can just like him.
No. We need that Clone Wars Anakin re-released with a new head sculpt, Hayden's head sculpt, and an updated color scheme on that. And I need this all black Anakin right here. I need the all black suit.
Okay, I'll sell you all 3 of mine. I got a couple. So, I thought Hayden looked great.
None of the head sculpts look good on the Anakins. They definitely need to give us like a better Anakin head sculpt.
And his character of dreamy Anakin was fantastic in this episode. And for sure, in my opinion, the star of this episode was Hayden Christensen.
Yes, absolutely.
His name should have been first in the credits, not last.
He was great. Stuff. And like, I'm so glad that, I'm a prequels kid. I grew up, those were my Star Wars movies. So for me, like, my attachment to Hayden, like, he's my Vader, he's my Anakin, you know what I mean? So like, I think it's so beautiful to see that like somebody who got such hate years ago is finally like able to get embraced by the fans now all this time later. Like
it took 20 years for all the Americans to like him.
Yeah.
We always loved him in Canada.
He
opens up expressing like he's here to finish her training, right? So there's a reason that he's in her head.
Life or death.
She either feels like she's incomplete, and is it because of her training, or just because she's always in a messed up situation looking for people or trying to help people or becoming a Jedi master and then quitting. As we see in some of the flashbacks, some of the lines that she she speaks to Anakin are very meaningful and have a lot of foresight into her character throughout the years, and I like that about it. I thought it was pretty good.
Yeah,
This
and I
was
love
also
that.
my poetry part of this episode, where she's like, I won't fight you, and this again, as we know, it's poetry.
Yeah, and I love like the
Obi-Wan has taught you well.
I will not fight you, Father.
Do it.
You are unwise to lower your defenses.
So this this scene, right away, as soon as she's spit out these words, made me feel good made me feel the Star Wars. Dave did this for me only, no one else, just for me.
Well,
But
and
I
the music.
was super stoked during this whole.
You notice they finally had Star Wars music in a TV show.
they've had it this whole season. Kiner's been absolutely knocking it out of the park. Like they need him doing all the music going forward.
It actually went like dun, 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 dun,
Yeah.
dun,
Hey,
dun,
Duffman.
dun,
Yeah,
dun,
and even the
dun,
Clone Wars,
dun,
the only thing
you know?
missing from those little flashbacks was the announcer at the beginning is like, oh, now happening on the Clone Wars.
They didn't need that.
I want that guy to come on the show. He's
I would have lost my mind. I would have been like, yes! But I love how like the life and death choice is almost like, which path are you going to walk? Are you going to give up and like succumb to the dark side basically by dying because you're literally giving up on everything, or are you going to choose life and are you going to accept the past and move on from what happened? And that was kind of the debate of
got a crush.
her being trained to be a warrior, and Anakin even references that at Mandalore, like you're a warrior now, Snips. It's I think that's what it all came down to, is like she viewed herself as just a weapon pretty much her whole life. She never got to be a kid. And now like she's whole again, which is what we saw like with the transition to the white. And
I have an issue with it though. Like when Gandalf turned white, he just appeared in a white suit.
The white.
I'm glad she didn't just appear though.
No, I wanted her to.
It's like the second last slide.
Yeah.
And then you could go on for an hour about Gandalf, the headtail chick. So G-Force, exactly. I love Hera's ...
Yeah. There was a lot of shots. A lot of shots of that one of the cameramen were fucking.
Is it Space Booty?
Yeah.
So again, the dialogue here. Oops, I didn't mean to share that.
One of Rick's tabs that are.
It's a shipping label. That's not still up, is it?
No, we can't see it. Don't worry.
So, and that's I won't fight you again. So, like I said, the poetry, it rhymes George Lucas style. I've heard that before, and I'm like, dude, you know where you heard that before? You heard it from your fucking son. Like, I just thought that was killer. That Dave is actually including us 50-year-old people in the Star Wars universe again.
That was the only thing. Like I said, I was wishing for like a mention of Luke, or like I know your son, or something along those lines. You know what I mean?
And how was Obi-Wan involved in that saying too? Like, did it run? Let me know in the chat if Obi-Wan said the exact same line.
He might have. Maybe when he faces off with Vader, does he say it? Like, when he says it in Kenobi, he says, "I won't fight you," and Anakin,
he does say in Kenobi,
and starts swinging at him.
If I was 30 years old, I probably would have thought of that first. But because I'm 50 years old, I'm 29 years old, I thought of the original Luke.
Yeah, no, I was trying to think of the original duel between Kenobi and Vader, but no, it's definitely Kenobi because he's like, "I'm not going to fight you," and then Vader pulls the blade.
I picked this shot for the thumbnail for this episode. It was one of the better ones. I thought I could post, in hours early without spoiling anything.
I love too how like they showed like what he did in Kenobi as Vader with the Force holding the saber. He does that to her too. Did you notice that? He catches it and stops and uses his hand. I was like, oh my god, they went back to like because that move in Kenobi was the craziest sequence in a lightsaber duel that we've seen. Like him catching it, moving it, and then pushing it back.
A spinorama move that he was. Where it looks like he's dancing, where it's behind him and he's blocking a lightsaber blow like that. He did the exact same thing, and I'm like, oh, he did not.
Yeah. No, they killed this. Like all around the choreography, everything was phenomenal. Like these might have been some of the best saber duels we've ever seen.
Yeah, but I thought it was funny though.
Entertaining.
I also thought it was kind of funny that I was like, I think the little kid redoing the Clone Wars scenes, like when she did the Mandalore stuff, and she's rolling around and doing those saber fights and stabbing and blocking and fighting all the Mandos. I was like, man, I think she did a better job than Rosario in some scenes.
Oh, really? I'm glad those are short scenes. That's all I'm going to say. We'll wait till you get those.
Guys,
but Senator Organa says she can only give us cover for so long. So, name drop.
Yeah.
Do you guys think that
just show us
Ashley should have been voicing over that girl?
Oh, I do. Yeah, I do.
I felt like this was the perfect. I know this girl was just in Barbie and she played Little Gamora in Infinity War Endgame, but
wait till we get to that slide, please, sirs.
I really.
We don't know what order you put these slides in.
Well, I'm obviously talking about the great Canadian actor.
I really thought that was
Hera's Green Headtails and Senator Organa name being dropped, Princess Leia herself. And you guys are going on about the actress who played Ahsoka. Like, it's just not relevant right now.
Bloodlines, though. So, like, that's interesting because in the timeline, this would be, like, after Bloodlines. So she hasn't been outed yet as being Vader's daughter, which is interesting. So she's still a part of the Republic.
Yeah. And why I think it's important, too, because
she hasn't had been
10 years later or if it's 20 years later. But when the sequels happen, right, she is then General Organa.
But that's because she's no longer part of the New Republic.
She's broken up with Han Solo. They've had children, and
but that's because
she's become a general. So that means they've left open a story where we can learn how she gets to be the general ranks if they would ever tell that story. And
she becomes a general, but she's not part of the New Republic. She leaves the New Republic because they find out she's Vader's
daughter.
She's just a senator at this time. So there's lots of story to tell still.
Yeah, it was very interesting.
That's going to come into play.
Also leaves the Battle of Jakku still a possibility of happening, I guess, because in Bloodlines that happens prior to them finding out about.
Yeah.
No, or is that right around the same time?
I think wasn't it right. I thought it was right after, but I could be right about the same.
One or the other, but it's right around that same.
Yeah,
which is interesting. Yeah,
the first battle, like where all the parts where the ships go down and stuff. Yeah,
what we see in Force Awakens.
Yeah, the aftermath of
really cool.
So,
really cool.
Okay, John, as more of an old school Star Warser like me, what did you think of this? Obviously we know he's a Force sensitive kid, but we also know everyone is Force sensitive now in canon. That's how it is.
Well, no, they're not.
What did you think of the hearing of the lightsabers?
You got it all wrong. You don't understand what you're.
Is that a new thing that people can hear people's Force dreams, kind of thing? Like, it was cool. It was a cool added thing to Star Wars,
showing how powerful this kid is.
But now I'm going to get to the other part.
He even projects it to his mom. Like it wasn't.
Also heard it.
Yeah, but it was through him. That was the point that you missed. Like he's the one. He's the one though projecting it through the Force so she can hear it. It's not like
the Force doesn't work like that.
Yeah, it does.
He could hear the waves.
His gift works like that because he's Jason. Yeah. He's essentially Jason Solo. So whatever Jason Solo can do, this kid. Which is great because I love that, like, he's so young. We're going to love this kid. And then when he stabs us all in the back and becomes Jason Solo, like the Darth version of Jason Solo, it's going to be so much better than Kylo Ren because it's going to hurt. We're going to be like, we love this kid and we saw him turn to the dark side.
You know this kid's dead, right?
No, this kid's gonna.
Kylo Ren killed all the students on Luke's.
This kid's important to the future of Star Wars. I think he might be the villain for the Rey movie. It's a very well possibility.
I think if he was at Luke Skywalker's Jedi Academy, he's dead.
I don't think he's at Luke's because I think Ezra trained him. I think Ezra
if he is to ever become a Jedi, that's where he would be. But anyway,
I hate to break it to you.
I just thought it was weird that because we could hear the sounds and it wasn't just the subtitles in the bottom, they made it feel like Hera could also hear it. And I thought that was
she heard
an introduction to either her.
Whether
she did hear it because she commanded the 5 people who were in her command to go and search for Ahsoka.
But they didn't hear it, and that was what's important.
Ahsoka did. Sorry.
Whether see, I don't know what you're coming from with like bringing up new powers like this. This has been something that something that has been in Star Wars for a long ass time.
Luke even does it to Leia.
Calm their minds. Yeah. Luke even did it. I mean, Luke calmed his mind, and he could hear, he could sense and hear, like Han being tortured on Bespin before it even happened.
But
you know what I mean?
Hear Han Solo having a dream.
But
I'm trying to say, it is different.
But
it's not something that's actually happening. It's just in her head. So
because of her son.
When Luke goes into Dagobah's cave, is Princess Leia on her planet? Oh my God, Luke is fighting himself. Like
no, because she doesn't know
she's not meditating at that point.
And she's not
Jason. Jason was calm and meditating. He was calm and meditating, standing out there staring at the ocean. And because he was calm and focusing, he got the Force let him hear what was going on enough to know that something was going on. It's not like he knew it. It's not like he 100% knew it was Ahsoka. He was like, I hear some lightsabers or something. And then because Hera calmed herself down and let the planet in, then she could hear it. You know what I mean? Because at first he's like, I don't hear anything. I just hear the crashing of the waves. And Jason even kind of did the master and apprentice thing right there, where he just in one little word, he said, calm your mind, close off everything else, and open your inner self to the Force, and you will hear what I hear. And that's what he did. That's what Hera did. It wasn't necessarily through Jason. I just think she let it in at that point and could hear it herself.
I thought she could hear it too, and I just thought that was.
Did you catch the Wu Yang line too of like people just don't disappear out of nowhere, and he's like, well, sometimes.
yeah.
Well, then we go back to the cool world with the great Canadian actor Hayden Christensen back at it again.
I love it.
I'm going to change this up a bit, and he's like,
smashes
the rules, and he just cuts the pathway, and she falls down.
Yeah,
and
this transition was so beautiful though, because it is Rosario when she lands, but then as you're panning into the shot, it's a seamless transition swap, and then she lifts her head up, and you're like, oh, it's not Rosario, it's a younger actress, and then like I put two and two together who the girl was like playing her. So for those that don't know, she was in
cool too. Is this is not the actress that was leaked that it was.
No, it was not.
Completely different actress. So that's
completely different
cool
actress
too. That wasn't leaked to the general public and all the.
Why do you guys watch and read so many leaks? I don't even bother.
I don't. I'm just on social media,
stuff,
dude.
And some stuff you hear years in advance. Like I had heard that last celebration, and so it's good to know that like they were wrong about quite a few things from this episode.
So yeah, again, the drop into the Clone Wars era. And we get younger Ahsoka and a Phase 1 clone troopers that are actors in a costume, which I thought was very cool.
Yeah, first time ever, because all the clones were CGI in the prequel, correct? Yeah.
Well, this next one's better. And then the coolness of a 2-1B again.
Yeah.
I think these guys popped up in every show so far.
Well, this is the same droid that like put Anakin back together, right, as Vader. That's what I was like. Isn't that the same droid that's on Coruscant or whatever that rebuilds Anakin?
it's used. They're in every medical thing.
Okay. I just that's where I went. That's why I thought like maybe she was staring at it for so long. Like that was the odd thing. How
he was staring at the clones, not the droid.
No, but you know what I mean. Like the way she like lingered on it almost after, like she looks back and doubles back at it, and I was wondering if like that was something that was like out of place from her memory, and she was starting. Like, you know what I mean? Like it wasn't how she remembered it. That droid was the droid that put Anakin. That's what I was thinking in my head watching it. You know what I mean? Because I wasn't.
I love the shadow of the big like AT-TE Walker, and there's a leg over here. I thought that was I thought that was badass.
And the fact that this is their first interaction from like the original Clone Wars movie on Toph, like that was really cool. Like this was really cool.
So how big was your boner at this point, Ways of the Sith?
I screamed. I literally was like, oh, he's in the Clone Wars armor.
I love that they had the armor on. Yeah,
I need this too. Like it's
exact
bulky,
figure,
like Vader style, and I liked it.
Yes. Yep. It looked so
it's a step
good.
up from, like you mentioned earlier, the action figure, and there is some hot toy figures and statues out there. Yep. But this is, I think, it's just a little bulkier. Like we know Vader is a big, massive presence, and I thought this was a very good transition.
Very good.
To like what we know as Darth Vader's costume and his armor. But yeah, Hayden was freaking brilliant, man. Like,
and I love
I don't think there's a bunch of CGI going on here. I think it's let's slap some makeup.
And there's Nemu in the background.
Is that her name, Nemu? And there we go. We got Phase 1 Rex.
Yeah, and there's Rex right in the background. Yeah, that's what I was gonna say.
And Nemu.
Yeah, I was thinking that was supposed to be Cham. Like I thought that was supposed to be Hera's father. That's what I was thinking.
Hera's father wasn't blue. This girl's blue. This is a girl and it's blue. It's Nemu.
Oh, all right. I can't tell from
I've
that.
never heard the name Nemu. Is that like
she's the girl,
Mr. Blobby?
Well, she's the girl who what's it? 212th paints on his helmet. Waxer and Boyle, right?
I don't know for sure if it's real. I'm just making it up because it.
I thought it
looks like a blue Twi'lek, so why not? Why can't it be Nemu? In my mind, it could be.
I thought it was Cham.
And she still got her Padawan beads on, which those are long gone.
Cham was tan colored, wasn't he? A tannish brown.
Yeah, I couldn't tell the color from the shot. That's why I was just like, in my head right away, I was like, oh, they're on Ryloth, and that might be supposed to be Cham in the background, like.
Although I don't think Hayden's winning any Academy Awards for this role on this show. I think he's getting all the fan awards this week, and
I
think he made a lot of fanboys and girls very happy.
He might win appearance, like because for guest star or appearance in a limited series, he might win that.
Like MTV award.
Any of those. He definitely might be up there for best appearance of anything.
So then we are starting to get to some of this, what I'm just calling very interesting and good writing for these dialogue sequences where, like it matters at where in time her mind is right now, and she's going back and in her thoughts to a younger self of her. Mm-hmm. This is what I trained for, like Jedis or to like Qui-Gon was teaching Obi-Wan, where peace and that kind of stuff.
And this was the whole dilemma pretty much for her.
It also goes back to the Clone Wars cartoon, because they brought that up a few times. There was a couple episodes where they were dealing with Ahsoka talking to Anakin and Plo Koon or other Jedi about, aren't we supposed to be peacekeepers? Like, why are we,
why are we doing this?
Yes, Ariana Greenblatt's her name. She was the young Greenie in the Guardians of the Galaxy, right? And she's also in the Barbie movie and Mickey Mouse.
I couldn't
Club.
believe how really like spot on. Because if you look at some of the animation,
she was too.
If you look at some of the animation, she's got like a roundish head, and this girl had the same shape of the
big
head.
eyes, right?
The head was the same. I mean, I was like, how'd they find someone who had the same face as a drawing?
I think they got her more because of a resemblance to the Ahsoka or the Rosario actress, more than the cartoon. I think she did good. I think they could have possibly cast better. That's just me, like wanting to
This
see
was perfect. This
Ashley.
was great.
But she was a much
I
younger.
would definitely would have liked to hear Ashley.
Even just for a second or a line or something, like if they
just
faded
tiny.
Ashley's voice into her voice or something, like
Yeah, I'm surprised.
I don't
they
know.
didn't.
It just there could have been a creative way to get Ashley still in here. You know.
I do agree. I think for this Clone Wars, the first flashback we're getting here. Are you playing Nintendo in the background there?
Yeah, I don't know what he's doing.
No, sorry, I was getting a charger.
It's all good. So, okay, it looks like it was the same actress throughout, the kind of flashback to tanks, whatever they were, even though I think the next, the Siege of Mandalore might have been 10, 15 plus years later. She didn't look any different. She had a different costume on. She had two lightsabers.
And she had the different lightsabers, the blue instead of the green.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, I think they did pretty well with that. I don't think any of the canon or freaks with the cartoons like yourself are complaining. I think they did.
Yeah, no, my only thing is I would have loved to see Maul. Like I thought this was the perfect opportunity. Like we could have saw her and Maul and then Anakin walking in of like, I don't remember this, and oh, you beat Maul. Like I didn't know. Like that would have been an interesting little tidbit, but I'm cool with it.
What if I want to stop fighting? She asks Annie.
You die.
Then you'll die. Exactly. So, did anyone kind of teach Anakin this kind of stuff?
Yeah, he taught himself by being a general in the Clone Wars. That was kind of the reflection of this, and he was also referencing what she was going through at this point. Like, if you stop fighting, you're going to die for real. Like, so you need to keep fighting.
I also took it as the Luke Vader battle, because when
that too,
because if Luke said I don't want to fight you, I will not fight you. Like even in the scene that you played earlier, and then Vader brings out his saber and goes to swing, and Luke blocks it. So at that moment where Luke blocks it, he chooses to fight. He chooses to live. Because if he truly
will die. Same. I think.
Yeah, exactly. Because if he truly didn't want to fight, he would have died. Vader would have cut him in half. You know what I mean? So really it's cool. Like you by choosing to live, you choose to fight. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
She's so short. She's so little.
But that's how it was.
And then we get more.
This was awesome. I loved the lightning strike, and he turns into Vader, and then it turns back, and even on the path later. Like I loved those spots. Yeah, look at that. Oh,
yeah,
it's cool.
Perfect. Absolutely perfect. This might have been like the greatest shot in the whole entire show. When they did this shot, I was like, and like her, just like her. I love how like when they get to Mandalore, she references it too, and he's like, "Is that what this is about?" Like almost like country. Like is that what you're afraid of? Like that I'm dark and I'm evil, and like. He played on it too, like in the change of him like going to Vader and then coming back to Anakin and like back and forth. I loved it. He better win an award for this performance.
Dude, Dave?
No, Hayden. Yeah.
Nah, I kind of doubt it.
Yeah,
it is Hayden. But so what? I was more surprised at the end of last week's episode. I thought at least 2 of those X-Wings got blowed up real good.
Two of them did get blowed up. There was 5.
African guy, and I thought the girl. Yeah, but I thought like more than 2 got blown up.
No, that's what I said. The other one lived.
Yeah, Brendan.
The other one lived.
Brendan lived. The Mandalorian, and he pulled her out of the water. And then the other one I'm thinking is Steph Green, the other director. I'm not 100% positive though.
So again, let's just leave our son on the planet by himself while we go on our spaceship, potentially to crash and die and get eaten by space whales. That's what Space Mama the O'Hara does. But it's pretty cool. I like to see the X-Wings. The sounds were awesome. And yeah, we still haven't found Ahsoka yet. But so he's told by Chopper to tell Mom to go lower.
Yeah.
So she goes low, and Hu Yang, the droid, wasn't very happy with that, but it's the way it goes. And then they're still searching for her, and now we're at the siege of Mandalore, where it does look like this guy does look like a video game CGI guy, but I'm gonna assume it's an actor because the clone trooper was.
Yeah, Mandalorian. Look,
part of it seemed a little video gamey, but I'm still appreciating it. Now, what we're looking at right here, this person in this costume, this is not that little chubby actress.
Yeah, it is. It's the same. It's the same chick.
No, it's a completely different body shape. But
you're talking about the stunt person. Yeah.
Because I guess this is a stunt shot.
Probably,
because that's a woman. Like that's an actual woman.
Yeah.
In her body, not a child. But we get a first glimpse of phase 2 Rex now.
You don't think that Tem was actually in the suit, right? I just think he was voiceover work. That it wasn't actually him there on set.
No, I don't think he was because he's not. These guys, these are all pretty big dudes.
Yeah,
these clones were like 200 plus pounds, all of them.
I'm still hoping he comes into play at some point. Like we get to see old man Rex at some point. Like
I do too, and I think it would be a shame if they didn't use him because he is one of their top stars and actors at Tamara Morrison now because he's Boba Fett, right? So absolutely, I think
seeing this was awesome.
I think there's still a chance. I won't be totally disappointed if Rex doesn't show up, but we have seen him as like a homeless clone in the Kenobi show, right? So that's what I mean. They've already teased us that we could just put Tamara in a scene and put him in a wig and a white beard, but they haven't yet.
I'm almost thinking that maybe that's where we get Zeb and him and maybe Callus, like when Hera inevitably probably gets demoted from being a general. Like I think that they could all leave the Republic and like go with Hera for whatever, reunite the crew to go get Ahsoka.
This I liked because this is Snips, as we know her, little bratty girl Anakin called, Snips and stuff like that beginning. And if you're watching Junkman, that's why he calls her Snips, because she was snippy and whiny like a little girl, and she did this a lot, like she does now again. We were talking about this, I think, episode 1, like, wow, that was a good hour of Ahsoka standing there with her arms crossed, her whole time. But it's pretty neat. They're showing it both ways. Yeah. But I just think she looks a little, I don't know, pudgy. I don't mean any offense to the actress playing it.
I think that was just to show her being older and I think that was intentional, the way they did the transition, because like they made her intentionally look more like a little girl when she was in the first, and then this, she's supposed to be older now. She's supposed to be like
and I think there's a little bit of tomfoolery going on here, because I do think this body still is an adult actor, and they've maybe just CGI'd that young girl's face in, because it's different. I've compared a bunch of pictures, and it's different. Her booty's way wider.
I've never seen the girl, so like outside of Gamora, so like I don't know what she actually looks like without makeup on.
Yeah, I searched her today just to see who she was and confirm her little bit of IMDb and stuff, and I'm like, I knew I recognized her because I didn't.
I can see that being the reason though why they didn't have Ashley voice over her, was because like she's like starting to rise as a movie actress, so like,
and she does sound very young. Like it worked.
It worked. I thought it was a missed opportunity. Like out of all the ways we could have gotten Ashley in this show, like this would have been the perfect opportunity.
Well, that's why I said,
agree. This age.
Like, I wish they could have done like some kind of merge, like if she did a line and then they merge the voice into this girl's voice or something.
Like they did with Sam and Solo for Maul. Like, it was Sam, but Sam was trying to do the previous the previous guy who did the voice, not Ray Park, because Ray Park didn't actually do the voice for Maul. That was all ADR. So like
Ray Park was the voice in episode 1.
In episode 1, he did a couple lines. Yeah.
No, it's not actually him. It's ADR.
I've met Ray Park. Ray Park and talked to him about it. He did
somebody else doing the voice though. It's ADR. If you look at the credits, there's somebody else credited for doing the voice for Maul originally.
But he did some of the lines. He might not have done all of them, but he did some.
he might have said them. He might have said them. Yeah, he might have said them on screen, but there's somebody else dubbed over the top of him. That's not Ray Park talking in the movies. They never let him talk in any actual movies. Even X-Men, he doesn't have any actual lines.
Yeah. I don't believe.
So here we got hippie Anakin.
By the way, I don't like Ray Park. I hope we never see him in Star Wars again. So I'm good.
We might, if we ever see a live action Maul again, he'll definitely be the actor.
I don't think it's going to be him.
I think he's too old at this point. I don't think they'll do it. He was almost too old when he did it.
And he got all in the head for talking shit about him.
And he can't keep his dick in his pants.
He's a ninja master. So what'd you think of long-haired Anakin here? So this is more the age of the Anakin that Ahsoka showed up in her dream to be talking to, and this part of the dream they go to the siege of Mandalore.
Yeah, and this he didn't remember because at this point they weren't. He wasn't. She had already left.
She said at this point, after I left. Yeah.
At this point, he actually is with Chancellor Palpatine, right? At this point,
or pretty close. He's moments away from being Vader.
Yeah.
So
it's almost happening at the same time. I mean, like when they showed a lot of these parts in the Clone Wars, like because this
she's on the ship?
Yeah, this is right before Order 66, isn't it?
Well, so like when she after she captures them all and is on the ship, Anakin turns. That's when the Mace Windu scene happens. Yeah, you know. So like, this is right before.
So this is right before Order. Yeah, this is right before it. Yeah.
And she has to speak to him in Clone Wars, and Kenobi basically breaks the news to her that like Anakin's not here. He went to take care of the Chancellor.
Yep.
So at this point now, do you think Ahsoka thinks that she herself will, follow the same path as Anakin and turn to the dark side?
I think that's what she's like referencing because she was told it by Balin that like her words that Balin says about, my legacy is only death and destruction. And Anakin's like, no, I taught you how to be a soldier. Like this is, and that's the whole. I love that they keep like referencing that in all of the continuality because even in Rise of the Red Blade, it's a contingent point of like how some of these Inquisitors ended up becoming Inquisitors was these were children put into a war. So like if you're really looking at it from that aspect of like, imagine being like a 14-year-old kid thrown into a war. You're a general of adults and you're commanding these lives in your own hands. And like, how does somebody at that age and that mature level deal with these repercussions of these things? And that's what we were seeing throughout this whole episode is like, she never got to be a little girl or never got to be like a real Jedi. She was a soldier first and foremost, always has been. Yeah. So it's really
the contrary side to that is that's also why I think a lot of Jedi were so easily wiped out.
Yeah, easily.
They grew up as Padawans at a time of peace.
Yeah,
and they never learned how to fight. So all these, when the clones were able to Order 66 and turn on them, I think a lot of them died because they never had a chance to really even learn how to fight.
That could be part of it too, right? If much of them were younglings, like like we did see Anakin deal with some children's younglings, we'll call them.
And John's even talking about like older ones that were just training because they were in a time of peace before the Clone Wars, and then all of a sudden everything flips in a switch, and you really get to see that in Rise of the Red Blade, which is really really cool description of it.
Was it cool that this is a grown man beating up on a little kid though? Like that part to me I'm like, ooh,
give me a break.
This is a man and a child. But I mean, in the cartoons, they weren't like. It didn't seem like they were an adult and an infant. Now, when you see
an adult and an infant,
it's like 6'5" Darth Vader fighting some 4'8" little head taily girl, it was spooky, man. Like I'm like, oh shit, and he boot F's her, like,
and boots her right back
booted her like 3 blocks down the road, like. And then he booted her back to Dreamland where she's all grown up.
Yeah, I love it.
It was such a great order of sequences. I thought like it really made this episode what it was. The transitioning back and forth.
This right here, the little flicker, and then like how you were talking about. Oh, so good, and like how you were talking.
I wish they carried it on even further though.
Like, I would have liked to actually like.
I think that during the battle, I think there should have been lightning strikes kind of during the battle, and like once
That
in
would've
a
been
while
cool.
he turned into
Back and
Vader
forth.
and then switched
A
back.
couple
You know?
more Vader shots. Yeah,
Yeah.
I get it, but because it's not real, it's not.
It's we're supposed to take it as like
necessary.
this is whole Anakin. Like this is both sides of Anakin in one
Yeah.
person embodied. So it's Vader and Anakin. It's like, what if Anakin would have won the battle on Mustafar and just lived on as Anakin, you know, as Darth Vader as a human without all the
Yeah,
robotic
yeah.
parts? It's really cool to see. And like the fact that even they changed this. So like when he switches back and forth, did you notice the saber change too? Like it
Oh,
went
yeah.
from Vader saber to Luke to Anakin saber back and forth. And like
Yes.
this moment right here might have been, so like you were talking about earlier, Rick, like your favorite moment in this whole episode. My favorite moment in this whole episode is when she gets the blade from him and holds it to his neck. And when she's literally
We'll
gets
get to that. We'll get to
okay,
that.
all right.
So I think it's like 2 pictures away, kind of thing, because we're
Okay,
still in
alright.
the dreamland here. But look at what the move she's doing here.
Love it.
Like she's bending backwards to block a blow. Like I didn't see it until I happened to pause on this frame. I'm like, wow, that's insane.
Really
But
cool.
yeah, so we do get to see Ahsoka battling Vader, not just Ahsoka battling Anakin.
Yep.
And there's a poster I'm sure you can buy in the next 48 hours on Amazon or Indigo
Hey,
Books.
I printed
But you
mine.
can see how much bigger he is here than the adult Ahsoka.
Yeah.
And we just saw him like
man.
a few frames ago, like with a child. It's impressive that they keep Anakin looking as big and impressive as we know him to be.
And
'cause I
Vader,
know
like,
Rosario's not 5 feet tall. She's at least 5.5 feet tall. She's a average to above average height woman, I think.
yeah.
Time
this
to
right here.
die.
Takes the saber and oh my god. And she just her eyes, like, did you notice her eyes when she's thinking about
a
it?
moment and let's look at his eyes, because we are fans of Darth Vader, not of we're not Ahsoka lovers like you.
His goes
So
totally red. I love it.
Let us older generation enjoy the Sith eyes of Anakin.
And is his
Anakin.
skin a little paler too? Like,
Yeah.
like did they
Possibly.
totally
The lighting
do it
is
up?
very cool.
Yeah.
They did a really great job with this, because this is like what we would have seen. We would have seen this.
Yeah.
You know, we
You can
we would
Google
have
what
never.
Ray Park did wrong in his life. You know, you'll find some stuff.
Yeah.
And Boba Fett's involved.
But this next clip, like if you have a shot of that where
You just want to see the next clip.
because that, to me, that was my favorite part of this whole episode, and really focused on like what the story and what they were trying to do was show. Like she could go dark and kill him and take her revenge.
Oh, this is even better.
But instead she chose life, and she
wants to
disintegrates the
eat
blade.
her like a Dino protein pancake.
Hey, if I happen to just disappear, it's because my phone died. I have to get a new phone, and this doesn't charge properly.
Yeah, because it's not because we booted you.
No, it's because my phone died.
But yes, I tried to get as much of the red eye.
Yeah, her eyes. I love that though. So like, I love like as soon as she got close, you saw like
right in, right?
The Sith eyes like pop, and then they disappear.
No,
like as
it's
soon as
just
she,
glowing from the red lightsaber.
No, watch it back.
Because people said that earlier, and I watched again and pause.
Her eyes change.
They don't change.
But it is just a dream.
It's just the glow from the red lightsaber.
But they did it on purpose with the effects. That's what I'm talking about. It's supposed to be there. It's reflecting this.
It was for sure.
Right, she's angry and she's ready to kill him, and then she's like, no,
was to get that reflection in the shot, right?
Yeah.
But it looked like she was about to behead him there for a quick second.
Because she was in that moment, and then she thought about it, and she said, "No, I want to live."
What I want to bring up is because I do remember this from cartoons. Ahsoka has a move where she takes the lightsaber from the villain and then kills the villain.
Yeah.
So this is stolen right from that 5-minute cartoon of Ahsoka Jedi Wars or whatever the hell that was called.
She used on the Inquisitors. Yeah, she kills
that goat skull mask wearing Inquisitor guy.
Yeah, that we still don't know his number, which is weird.
Does a Spinorama moves, takes the saber out of his hand and slices him open. So that's exactly what she did here, and I thought that was pretty cool. I remembered that.
Yeah, really
but
cool.
Yes, it
Love
reflects back to earlier where she asks, or Anakin tells her, I've taught you everything that I know. There's nothing, I'm not going to miss nothing. I'm teaching you everything and everything that I know. And that's where she's like, oh, snap. Because
and we had talked about
without saying anything, she's like, yeah, you turned out pretty bad. And again, like, she didn't say it in so many words. For whatever reason. But she did say, oh, yeah, you were pretty hard to deal with sometimes, kind of thing.
And it reflects back to what we were talking about a couple weeks ago too, with like the Hu Yang making reference to like, you come from a long lineage of Jedi that didn't follow the rules, and then Hayden reiterates that same statement to her, is like, everything I am is everything you are, and everything that's from me comes from my master and his master before. And he's like, you have the choice to continue the legacy. I love that. So like,
I don't think I have a shot, but later, what Hu Yang is in the cockpit with Hera and the ghost going up.
She makes the comment. What was her master like? Intense.
Hu Yang replies, "Oh, he was intense," and his eyes get all narrow.
His eyes,
So to me, that means he knows.
Yeah, he knows. He knows what happened. And we don't know how Ahsoka got Hu Yang back, because as far as we know, Hu Yang was out on that, the ship, the pilgrimage ship, basically. So like we don't even know that story of how she ended up with Hu Yang.
Yeah, that's right. Of course, we don't know how. She clearly went back and picked him up, but we just don't know.
Yeah, we just don't know where he was, or if he was taken by the Empire at one point.
Yeah, that too. Yeah.
That we brought that up earlier. That's why it's the new Force. That's a Force thing. You can hear people's thoughts in their heads while the fish are eating their toes.
If like I was saying when you walked away earlier before we got on, the planet Cetos itself is, and I think even Hu Yang knew, like the planet itself is connected to the Force, because you even see the weather change.
Yes, I think a lot of those planets on that star map
are all Force planets.
Darth Maul's home, where Ahsoka finds the they're all related.
You literally see the change from the waves crashing and the heavy storm and the winds, and then it's all calm and cool and collected. The sun comes out when Ahsoka's in her white garb. It's fantastic.
So then now the great Canadian actor Hayden bows his head, and Anakin's back. Good old Blue Eyes back. No more Darth Vader. There's hope for you yet. And he kind of looks up and realizes, someone's about to pull her out of the water. So that was neat that they kind of included him kind of noticing there's something changing.
And it was almost
that feeling that it was more of a Force-y kind of dream than just a standard, thoughts in her head. There was some kind of connection.
But the thing is, it happened to her. Like that's like saying that, like when Luke went in the cave in Dagobah, that none of that really happened. It happened. It's real. It happened in real time. These
there's
things
not
were
a corpse of Luke Skywalker with his head cut off on Dagobah. It didn't actually happen. It was.
I'm not a religious person.
It's what's in there, whatever you take with you. It's just
it happened.
It's a figment of your imagination, as Yoda said.
I'm not a religious person, but the baptism aspect of this was really cool to see as well, incorporated. The fact that literally she gets purified by the water, and then when she comes out, she's different. It's a really cool little aspect.
She chooses to be different because she chooses to change her clothes.
Well,
this is why I'm saying I think that she should have had white clothes from this moment on.
That would have been.
Because
her coming out of the water just with white clothes, like no.
Yes, just like Gandalf, he suddenly had a white cloak. I really think that's how it should have been, because you could even argue that the water faded the clothes from gray to white. You know what I mean? If you really wanted to get technical, the water had bleach in it, and it bleached the clothes white. You know what I mean? Because now it's a physical choice. She goes, you know what? I think because I went through this experience, I'm going to wear white clothes from now on.
She had the other outfit packed on. She only had two outfits packed on the starship, John. She had the white, she had the gray. The gray got soaking wet, And she put a new headband on because it's a new headband too.
And
headband without a little diamond on it.
So what
With
I'm
a
saying
Celtic
is,
cross, too, which
it
is
doesn't
interesting.
mean anything now because it's just
Oh,
she
no, it still
chose to
does.
wear white. It
It still
doesn't
means
have any
something.
deeper meaning now.
But it's after
means
Labor
she's
Day,
whole.
so you can't put the white
Yeah.
after Labor Day.
No,
Yeah,
it
you
definitely
have Ahsoka.
it definitely signifies because you saw the change even in her attitude and her humor came back. We saw the Ahsoka, like we've been very vocal throughout this show that like we didn't know why Ahsoka was acting the way she was. Like that wasn't the same character that we saw in Clone Wars or Rebels. So why is she acting so different? Now we got that explanation is because whatever she was going through, she still wasn't whole, and now we see Ahsoka whole again at the end. And I love that interaction with Hu Yang of like, where are we going? And she's like, I don't even know if this is gonna work, but fuck it, let's go.
So it's good to know that these X-wing pilot uniforms got little hook loops on them.
Yeah,
cool to
And
know.
the-
Like well, at least hers does. But
and the
yeah, so this is the
Mandalorian
Mandalorian
pulling her
stuntman
out the
actor,
water.
John Wayne's great grandson, if I'm not mistaken.
I
Brendan
kind of
Wayne.
wondered though, like wasn't the last time we saw him as a pilot, he was wearing a blue suit, and now he's wearing a orange one. Like
I'm not sure.
Not
when
Brendan
he
Wayne.
met Zeb or whatever, when we saw Zeb in the thing, didn't Zeb have a blue suit too?
Zeb was wearing
Zeb-
blue, yeah.
Zeb's in blue, but that's because Zeb's part of Blue
Was it-
Squadron.
Blue Squadron.
They're not.
Wasn't Carson in a blue suit before?
No, only
But during
orange.
the Mandalorian, it was a blue suit.
But
No,
the
only-
X-wings,
He's got a
that
blue
Carson-
helmet.
Yeah,
the
yeah. I don't know.
Greedo X-wing was, and the black guy were from the Green Squadron. They did have green suits and green helmets,
Yeah,
but they died.
yeah,
so
they died in the last
I was a
episode.
little confused that they weren't all from the same color squadron.
Yeah.
So I don't know what color their X-wings were. When we do see those three big good guy ships come into frame later on, I got a couple pictures of those. I did slow down and look inside their landing bays, and all of their X-wings were blue. So instead of having red,
that's the
they'll have
transition
blue
of
stripes.
the new
yeah,
Republic.
that's kind of the transition. But what did you think of bald-headed Ahsoka?
This caught me off guard at first because at first I was like, something's off, and I don't know
I
what.
thought they
what
made
it
a
is.
mistake, like an editing error. And I bet you we go watch this tonight. It's not there anymore.
And then I realized, like, oh, she's not having the headpiece on. But this took me out of it for a split second, only because you saw. So like when she goes to sit up, you see the prosthetic bend at like a weird angle, and then like correct itself like as soon as she gets straight. It was just a very very small nitpick, but like you were like, that special effects, like you couldn't touch that up with CGI real quick or something.
Well, I don't care because to me it's real.
Oh, I don't care either, but you know what I'm saying? Like the way it bent, made it look like it. Like it took me out of it for a minute because you could tell like, oh, that's a prosthetic. It's not just her Leicu. You know, like it was a weird
scene,
like bend.
She gets up and she sits up. So there's twice in this episode. One was with Ahsoka, and there was one scene with Hera. So in this scene with Ahsoka, she gets out of her bed and she turns, and her Leiku's kind of like flip-flop over her boob, like they're made of styrofoam.
Yeah,
and
it's like a natural like flow of something.
They had a little bit of weight to them, and then I probably would have got weirded out because then it's too real. You know what I mean? Like if.
No, yeah, I know what you mean. That was the one thing that like I just noticed during the scene, and I was like, like that's weird.
And there
like
was a scene earlier where Hera kind of turned her head real quick, and like her head tails kind of like were on a 3-second delay.
Yeah,
and then
yeah.
They kind of bounced a little bit, and I'm like, okay, that's cool. Because if they didn't, I'd be weird because those are real meaty tails. But this looked weird. This freaked me out. I've never seen all of Ahsoka before.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? The front half orange and white back here, and I got the new look. So it was weird.
There's always that's why I mean that's probably why they've had a transition piece. You know, a metal thing.
Into the
even Shakti had something. I mean, that's why Ahsoka always had it because even
covers up their little ear holes.
Yeah,
that they got.
even Shakti had that too. Like that's why they.
See, this scene to me was something that like Jason's here, and she was like so shocked because we were saying earlier, we've never seen these two interact before, but it almost sets you up for maybe something down the line.
And
I think Ezra was
pissed me
trained,
off
but
because this scene ended here with these two characters.
yeah,
Who are you
and
fighting with? Mom steps in.
yeah,
like,
and I think that's intentional because Hera doesn't want this kid to train as a
here.
Jedi.
Like,
She knows
you just
he's
learned
a
that this
Jedi.
kid
She knows how
force-fed
powerful he is, but doesn't want him to
force
train.
fed you drowning with lightsaber sounds and whatnot, and you didn't want to know more about that. Like, to me, that was weird.
Yeah,
Do you
it's
know what I
because
mean?
she
Like,
doesn't
they
want
didn't
him. She
expand
doesn't want him
on-
to be a
It's like, I
Jedi.
heard you. I could hear you. And she was like, "You what? You heard me?" Like, she was obviously surprised. I couldn't capture her acting the same with my eyes, but she was
Now, when
very surprised that this child who's force sensitive could hear lightsaber fighting. Who are you fighting with?
yeah,
I just wish she would have answered him.
Yeah,
and that's why though, because Hera is very apprehensive about him actually becoming a Jedi because she's afraid he's gonna
Because
die.
now at this point, again, this is just a thought. She may never see this kid again, and vice versa. This kid may never see Ahsoka again. Like, now she really is fish food. She's in the belly of a fish.
Jonah
and
the
if
Whale.
you think I'm wrong, you're wrong, because she is in the belly of a fish at this moment.
She's in the mouth.
Yeah, Jonah
She's
and the
in
Whale.
the mouth.
In the mouth. Okay,
belly.
almost the belly.
And then this, will you train me? No. Well, could you know how to build a lightsaber? Yes.
And this
Can
is where I
build one?
laughed.
No.
I laughed again twice in a row, because it was very calm now. We're out of the lightsaber fights, and it's some stories developing. How's our adventure going to continue?
Yeah.
And he's like, "Oh, you got a training room? Can you show me?" No. Oh, you can show me how to build a lightsaber? No. And I'm like, that's funny. That's all it was. It's just a robot saying the famous line in Star Wars, "No."
And
I really brilliant.
I really do think he's going to get the Jason Solo storyline. I think like
I don't.
They are hinting at it so much to make this kid important down the line. It's very possible.
Hu Yang and
I don't
Jason
think he's turning dark side.
are going to be dead.
I think there's a very real possibility that he ends up crossing paths with Rey down the line.
I think he's dead. I think that's not canon, but
no, because he's supposed.
I'm going to put it this way: I don't think that you can give me an argument that he's not dead.
Yeah, you can.
Well,
I can right now because the ghost
doesn't get trained. He doesn't go to Luke.
The ghost is flown in the Rise of Skywalker, and if you read the character guide, supposedly it's being flown by Jason.
Yeah, I don't think he goes to be trained as a Jedi. If he gets trained, it's going to be way after Luke's school is gone. Like, he gets trained after Luke's school is gone.
I have such a hard time with like Luke now, and like anything that involves Luke, because we know where the story ends, and like we know what happens, and we know he fails horribly, and it's just kind of like I hate it very much so. So like I find it hard to even like think at this point like any of these important characters are going to end up with Luke, because if they do,
Grogu does not end up with Luke. This kid does not end up with Luke. I think Luke's school is a totally separate thing, and Luke found those students on his own.
And I think Ezra, I think Ahsoka, Sabine, maybe Cal Kestis, Jason Zindula, I think they're going to be more so together in maybe
none of those guys went to Luke's school. None of them.
No.
Yeah.
So only one that could eventually end up at Luke's school, maybe Quinlan Voss. He could maybe end up being one of the teachers at Luke's school. That's a possibility. But yeah, I don't see any of the other ones being at Luke's school.
So yeah, this is for sure a definite new headpiece for Ahsoka now.
Yeah, it's got like a Celtic cross on the front. Yeah.
And now the white lines even gone even more. Yeah. I keep wondering why the white lines on her Lekko keep disappearing more and more and more. Like, is that just something to do with age? Does a younger Twi'lek have more white on the than hers. Like they keep going away. The cartoon
is
it was
like
prominent.
tattoo ink. It might be tattoo ink for all we know. Like Hera actually, you can't see it, but if you know the cartoon character, like this is a circle here.
Yeah, she had white.
Like it's all
lines,
geometric shapes, which I'm gonna guess is tattoos and not natural because it is, geometric
so
shapes.
precise,
Unlike Ahsoka's, where it's more like tiger stripey.
Yeah,
but I wish it was a little more prominent on the live action Hera.
Yeah.
It's okay. Like it's not real Star Wars.
My only thing with her is I notice her smiling a lot. Like, do you guys notice that too with her? Like little things where like she should just be stoic or just have like a normal expression. You see her like almost crack a smile, like she's just so excited to be there. That's almost how I interpret it in some of her.
She was smiling. She was smiling 1 second before I took the screenshot. Hera was. She was totally smiling.
And that's what I'm talking about. Hera, like
she was about to say she was fighting Darth Vader. So I don't know why she's smiling. Makes no sense. You're right.
You know what I mean, though. Like it's just little moments. Even with Hu Yang, she cracks like this big smile during the Anakin thing, and it's almost like, ooh, she popped at the mention of Anakin. You know what I mean?
Acting
like
experience, you might learn when to not do that.
It's almost like I think that's more so like it's almost like you can see her excitement of being in the show. I think the staff might come from Paradia because I think
we're going to see a staff.
I think Morai is going to be in Paradia. I think that's like when they arrive, that's how they're going to find their way. Is that you'll see Morai, the convoy.
I'm surprised we haven't seen that owl yet.
I thought for sure he would have like appeared there with her at the end
since
of
we
this.
saw it I think since we saw it in Mandalorian. I thought it would be
branch in Mando.
Yeah, I thought we'd at least see it once or twice here somewhere.
In the trees at the end of one of the last episodes that made it look like it might have been from a bird in a tree because it was a camera angle that was up high. So
that's what I
think we'll see the owl.
We could see Morai like guiding her when she gets there, like because she even says like I don't even know where we're gonna end up. We might not even be like relative to anything. I think when they get there, that'll be like the sign that she follows, and then she'll probably find something when they get there that is that staff, whether it's like a relic or something, and that's probably gonna what will be the staff. You know what I mean?
So I get this. This I've kind of seen in Star Wars before, where objects have kind of memories, so to speak. So Ahsoka with the Force,
Cal Kestis
can kind of grab this and realize what kind of happened, to Sabine, who was holding it, because she remembered that she saw it, so she didn't like lose all of her memories and everything. So she's able to word for word get that dialogue between Sabine and Baylan and realize that she's gone with them, like. And she's alive and not harmed, as Hera, wants to confirm too. I thought that was pretty cool. Another great Canadian acting scene. I don't think they're coming to help when they're talking about the New Republic ships coming in from hyperspace.
You really see like the fault of the New Republic here, and like why they don't succeed and why
it's almost like they're going to go bad.
Well, and like that's what they're setting up is the fact that like there's Imperial remnants in every stage. It's so like it's Operation Paperclip here. What happened here? We took in a lot of the German scientists and Nazis into our government and gave them government jobs, and that's what they did in the New Republic. They took these empire people and brought them in, and now in every facet of their government structure, there's the empire. So like whenever things change, they're going to be almost like the sleeper agents inside of the government to help usher in the First Order, which is really cool way of setting things up. It's just we're getting there. We're almost at that point, I think.
So just got to stay on brand here.
Rick has got a crazy Rick's got a crazy theory.
Carson Teva, the great Canadian Star Wars X-Wing pilot, will get an action figure.
He better.
Eventually. It will happen.
He bet.
hard to get something like that wrong. But he's looking a little thicker. I know people are giving me shit because I said that girl had chubby cheeks. I got chubby cheeks too. Like it's just it's a younger, youthful appearance to have like the chubby cheeks. Kind of like Paul. Paul looks great here, but he looks different than he did in Mando. Like he's got way more of a beard game. You know what I mean? Like, but it's he needs an action figure. Come on, Hasbro, get her done.
Has to.
Done. It's gonna have to be a little thicker of an action figure though. You can't use.
Baron was saying that the Brendan Wayne and the other pilot are gonna get like what's the over of them?
It'll be a 2-pack with the dead Greedo and the other guy.
Yeah.
This right here was fantastic.
Ahsoka starts thinking. She's using her head, and she's thinking about the space whales. # space whales.
What do we got to do to get a Pergil for the HasLab? I would take
Hasbro.
I need a Pergil like ASAP. I was trying to think of like what I could like. Who makes a big, large scale whale that like even I could customize like into a Pergil?
And I need a whale and an octopus and mix them together.
Yeah.
I do LEDs.
Yeah.
So here, Mothma's letting her know, like, hey, I did what I could. I delayed what I could delay, and yeah, we're coming to take the dots off your general badge. So they're coming to take some Purina space dots off her.
Yeah, we're gonna take your cost drop. We're gonna take drops.
And again, you see like the faults of like she's trying to please the politicians instead of like the rebellion, which she was a part of, but she played into the political aspect of it. So like she's here to smile and make these people happy, not lead. And that's where the disparaging part between her and Leia is, of Leia wanting to take action and take charge and be a rebel, and Mon being a politician. And again, another aspect of why they fail, like in the long run.
So since Ed, this is your most favorite thing, Ahsoka lover ever.
I love this. I love this costume.
Ahsoka the white. What did you think of this?
I love the colorway. I love the fact. So like in Rebels, we only see the white cloak. We don't see like the outfit she's wearing. I love the color scheme of this. It's like blue chrome on her gauntlets and her metal pieces of the outfit, and then she's got like gray, tan, and white patchwork into the costume. I love it, man. That's awesome.
It's a good.
I need this figure, and like it makes her color look right. Like remember we were talking about that, I think, when Mandalorian came out. Like
the orange pops. The orange skin pops in this uniform.
Yeah, and like it makes her look more vibrant and real, I think. So like I'm cool with this look going forward. Like this is great.
She looks funny bald, like without her little headband. I was I'm not excited anymore.
As soon as I saw her with the
standing on spaceships, like now, like why?
And Jason too. Jason's like, Mom, what are they doing? Like, and then Hera tells her the story. Like, is that what took Ezra? And she's like, yeah, Ezra saved our life with them. Like they helped us. And so like I love that too. Like she, Jason gets to see one of these things for the first time after hearing this story about his uncle Ezra for so long. You know what I mean? Like a really, really cool way of tying things in together.
Yeah, I'm digging the outfit. Like I see a little quilting pattern on her leggings, which kind of gives me a little
and it's got like patchwork on the front. She got like the tan down the middle, and then there's like light gray and dark gray like patchwork on the front of the top. I like it.
This kind of quilted armor on the side that we've known her for wearing, but yeah, that kind of blue gray color.
Now I could see John's point though of like, so you had this other outfit on your ship.
The whole time.
Your outfit got wet, so this is your new outfit. And I like it.
It's more of a her choosing to be this way rather than the Force.
But then we see that change though in her behavior. And
I wanted to see the Force making a change.
Smiling. Yeah.
I wanted the Force to make this change in her.
No, yeah, I see your point. I think that would have been a little like weird if she came out of the water just in a new outfit. Like, so like I get like her getting the white cloak from Hu Yang just to keep herself warm, and then here's this other outfit she had on her. Yeah, I know. You're gonna fight me on bleach.
The first of you two people, my guest host, to tell me,
Ishi Tib.
Yeah,
Ishi Tib is here. Yes, I loved it.
Cool. It's always cool to see familiar, real space creatures.
Was a cool way of like, I again, like something else Dave's just been doing, like little things that amount to so much with us. So like with Andor, we had Tony Gilroy beating us over the head, telling us, I'm not for fan service. This is not a fan service show. Meanwhile, Dave is the complete opposite, and this is fan service, but done exceptionally well. Fan service.
Yeah,
like,
I disagree because
I don't even look at it as fan service because they established that the Star Wars universe has aliens in it all the time.
Yeah.
Well,
no, but I'm talking about these. I'm talking about
it.
But you know what I'm saying? These little references, these little characters like that are just in the background that we know from other movies or other, you know what I mean? It's just, I love that. To me, that's like appreciating your fans that are watching this, knowing that like, oh, they're going to pick that up in the background. Like you're almost shitting on the fans when you're like, hey, screw you. I'm not going to give you anything that you want to see in this show. You know
but the weird thing is, the last time I watched Andor just a few weeks ago, there are a lot more aliens in the background. I think they added some.
Yeah, they're in the background, but they're not like in the show. It's very strange, very weird.
I think they added some since it first aired.
One corner.
You're right, G-Force. He had 50 capes on the Falcon, so I guess Ahsoka can have 2 outfits on the ship, right?
I just think the ship's too clean. That's my only little quip with it. Like,
these are the familiar backbar ships. So
it's like they 24 hours a day have robots going around mopping and repainting this stuff, and it's
you
just had a war. You just had a war.
What's it? The robo?
What are the robos and dirt?
What are the robo?
It looks the same as the home one in Return of the Jedi, though.
Yeah,
that was dirty.
That one was
because
clean.
it was already 40 years old at the time. That ship. It's just,
that one was clean.
It's my one thing. It wasn't clean because it was.
Yes, it was. It was just like this. Film. It was just like this.
Yeah,
it's the same bridge.
I love this. Like, so yeah, it's top secret.
This white area of Carson Teva's X-wing uniform.
Yeah.
See how it's not white? Like it's not like toothpaste white. It's dirty. Like his helmet's pretty white, but the stuff that gets dirty and walked on and the buttons, the paint, it's a lived-in universe. I just thought I think
love this.
The shit's too clean. And
it's top secret. It's top secret. And she's like, I'm going to strip you of your whole command. And he's like, all right, you're not going to believe me what's going on.
I laughed at this point, too. There's a couple little laughs. And I love this scene in the Never-Ending Story. I mean, last night.
It's Jonah and the whale, though. That's what this is.
Whale's freaking huge. It's huge. It's huge, cool. Man. Like, you can fit the entire New Republic inside this thing's mouth.
Yeah, I didn't. So I was going to ask you guys what you thought about that. Like, do you think Hera and Jason should have gone with her? Like, at least, like.
Well, I kind of figured they would. Why wouldn't they?
Yeah, that's what I was saying. Especially if you're about to get in trouble, like, why wouldn't you just go with her? Like,
and your whole point was to try and find Ezra. Now you're like, well, I don't need to go find Ezra. I'll let you do it.
Yeah, you go to another galaxy. Jason's gonna stay here. Like, what? What do you mean?
They should have got in there too. Yeah,
but I'm assuming that Hera's gonna lose her command, and then we'll get them going. You know, they'll be Rogue Squadron, like I was saying a couple weeks ago. Like Carson, her, Zeb, whoever else, they might end up becoming like the Rogue Squadron that we never got. You know what I mean?
Yeah, no, it's a good point.
I still say they'll be back in this season. They're not.
Oh yeah, no, so like I don't know. I don't know if we'll see them again this season, but they'll definitely be involved in what's going forward.
No. I mean that like Ahsoka, Sabine, Thrawn, all those guys are coming back. They're not going to stay in that galaxy. I still say they're coming back.
I don't know.
I think we stay there for a little while.
We never see Ahsoka and that robot ever again.
No,
I'm not saying that's going to happen. I'm just saying there's a chance. Like, I mean, back again in this universe.
I think
there's a chance Ahsoka
there's a very
and her robot never come back to Star Wars Galaxy.
They could at some point, but I think they're going to spend time over there because I'm fully expecting still. I'm just going to plant my flag in here, John, right now. I'm fully expecting either the Yusong Vong or the Grisk in this other galaxy, and I think that's going to be the real threat, not Throne. So bank it. I'm taking it.
I think
I've been
so
saying
too.
it for 2 years now.
I don't think. But the thing is I don't think that Thrawn and just because he gets Ahsoka and Hugh Wang and Sabine, that suddenly, all right, now that I've got you extra 3 people, we can take on this threat.
I agree.
You know
I agree.
I mean? I think he needs the New Republic. I think Thrawn needs the New Republic to take on the new threat. So I think they're coming back to this galaxy, and he's going to convince the New Republic to join him. And the remnants of the Empire, the New Republic, and the Mandalorians, and all this stuff we've been seeing are going to go against the new threat.
I could see that, but I think for now, time being, I think they stay over there for a little while. I don't think they come right back. Like, I think these last 2 episodes take place in Paradia, and then maybe at the end they come back. But I don't think this. Yeah. I still think this story.
They're not going to stay there all the way through Rise of Skywalker. I think.
I don't know if they stay there. Yeah, I don't know if they stay there that whole duration. But I definitely think
part of Rise of Skywalker, so she's either dead or she's in another galaxy.
I definitely think that they could stay there for the remainder of this show and perhaps into next season if there is a second season.
Yeah, I want just comment on that quickly. There is definitely no confirmation or even rumors.
No, there's not. Only because
season and
only because of the writers' strike.
2 other TV shows that also tie into the Mandoverse.
Only because of the writer's strike going on. Because Mando, if you remember, was renewed.
This was written 6 years ago.
I'm not saying that. What I'm saying, but they're not greenlighting anything because of the fact of the writer's strike. So they're not going to say, "Hey, it's coming back for a second season," until they have everybody on board that they can agree in contracts.
Let's not talk about it because I don't think there is a season 2.
I think there's
change writing 6 years down the road. It doesn't work like that.
I think there's going to be season 2.
The robot's asking Ahsoka, "Okay, so you talk to the space whales and we're going to save Ezra. You know where they're going, right?" Yeah, no, I have no idea. And I'm like, what? Like,
I love it.
Oh, issue tip. So she has no idea where they're going, and let's just go with it.
This was Ahsoka. This was the first time. I'm also
surprised
as an adult.
We see some people in the chat why Hera didn't go with them, like why they're not being rebels.
That's what we were saying.
Yeah, I would have thought she would have went.
She's gonna go get her punishment and then not have it. And like even Mon tells her, you need Ahsoka's statement to basically get you out of trouble. And Ahsoka's gone. Ahsoka's on a whale. So there's my statement, basically.
So this Ishi Tib guy, they're gonna tractor beam Hera and the Ghost, and he's gonna steal 3 of her blue dots to put on his little badge here, and he's gonna be the new General Ishitib.
His pill thing, you know.
Yeah.
See, the ship's got the New Republic logo.
I love this. Take evasive action. Get out of their way. They didn't move at all. It's like no one took the warning. They just said,
but I did. One of the pass bys, I had a good look in these bays, and they were all blue and white X-wings, which is pretty cool.
Yeah.
But it was too blurry and CGI to get a good screenshot. But yeah, the space whales are going right in the path of where the ships were, and Hera gave him a little warning at least. So before Hera gets arrested and thrown in Jabba's dungeon, the space whales do their little light speed, and it ends with Hera saying the line we're all so familiar with. And I was caught off guard. I didn't see this coming. We haven't heard this said in, I don't think, any of the Disney Plus series yet. If If someone did say it, correct me if I'm wrong, but I thought that was pretty cool and a good way to end the episode. Because we may not ever see those characters again.
We haven't heard it in this era. I think Din says it too at one point in.
I don't think anyone said it in Mandalorian, Kenobi, or Book of Boba Fett or Andor. Jedis, the only Jedis in any of those was Luke and Ahsoka in the Mandalorian, and that's
Kenobi,
it.
And Ahsoka,
Kenobi.
Ahsoka,
Kenobi was
and,
the only Jedi.
Ahsoka and Luke literally say it to each other in Mandalorian.
Yeah.
Do they?
And I just liked the music. I was like, to me, I was just like, we're finally getting Star Wars music, man.
Kiner is phenomenal. They need to lock him down as the new John Williams and let him do everything. Him and his, I believe it's called Kiner
John
Music.
Williams is still alive, dude. He can still.
Him, his wife. Yeah, but he keeps trying to retire, and they keep dragging his ass back to do something.
Keep throwing bags of money at him.
So like,
I
if
think John
somebody
Williams
take that role, the Kiner
I think
Music.
John Williams will
be
100% be involved in a Filoni Star Wars movie.
I'm sure, but I think Kiner will be doing the majority of stuff now going forward for Star Wars, at least in Disney Plus form.
Are you ready? There we go. Winners. That shows the internet that we are winners. Soka loving winners.
Winner, chicken.
So overall, as we wrap this up, what is your score for this episode out of 10?
For this episode, last episode, I believe I gave it a good 8.5 or so. I really liked all the Balin and the lightsaber stuff. I'm going to grade this the exact same, an 8.5. And it's mostly because of my love of all the Hayden scenes. If there was no Hayden scenes in this episode, I don't think I would have liked this episode a lot. But it made it for me because it wasn't just CGI, fake Annie like we saw last week. It was pure Hayden. It was the guy who lives in Burnaby, like 20 minutes away from me. It was that guy with a little bit of makeup and some lighting. I thought he was brilliant. And I think Dave Filoni did a really good job incorporating his Star Wars in his head and combining it to like the original and stuff that everyone's going to like. I know I haven't seen one 20 or 30-year-old say they didn't like this episode last night. So now I have seen at least one person say they didn't like it. But that's it. I could see over very well.
I could see people that never watched Rebels or Clone Wars not really understanding everything that transpired in the episode, but that's on you for Vern, cough, for never watching the stuff.
The dialogue has been explaining as it goes. That's
what I mean. They've been trying to show you.
Ahsoka said in these, in this dreamland, whatever you want to call it, were important to the whole story. If you never watched the cartoons, or if you never watched the original Clone Wars animated movie, it was cool that they referenced back to that so much that they showed scenes
and showed you. John, now what do you said 10 out of 10?
I think we're seeing more of those too.
I'm all in. I mean, I thought it was good from the first episode, but I think every single episode has just pushed it better and better and better for me. The show just keeps getting better, and better, and it reached its pinnacle here. I mean, this is where
really
it's like 10 out of 10.
So how do you think they top it next week? Like, there's got to be my whole thing is besides Thrawn and Ezra. There's got to be something to Paradia that's going to captivate us too. Like,
the thing is
it could. Hammerhead could save Star Wars. Not Filoni, Hammerhead.
Yeah. I mean, I'm a little weirded out now by why there's 2 more episodes, because I'm kind of like,
it's 3 more.
I feel like
2.
I feel like you go to.
There's 8 episodes. This is episode 5.
You're
3 more.
Right, 3 more.
And I failed math.
Whatever it is,
Americans.
Because I kind of feel like you go to Peridia or whatever the hell they're going, introduce Thrawn, and then if I guess if you were thinking of seasons, you could almost like end it.
I still think
pick up next season with what's going to happen. Do you know what I mean?
I still think, especially with the writer strikes and everything, I definitely think this is Filoni's movie's getting pushed back. That's not coming in 2020.
Oh, it is. Yeah, no, yeah, they are.
So I think with everything being pushed back, I think it's very easy for them to slide in a second season. And we were saying earlier, I still think the cliffhanger is being Ezra.
It's like putting a second.
What I'm getting at is, what do you do? What do you do this season for 3 more episodes?
I
thought
show the bad guys.
Now that you got 3,
so Balin and Shin, we still know nothing about. As much as we love the characters and we're loving their performances, we still know absolutely nothing about either one of them. So I think you have to focus on them. I think you're going to focus on Morgan and Thrawn and their relationship, because from the scene that we saw of Thrawn walking out on the Eye of Sion and Morgan like standing there, she looks like she doesn't like what he's got to say, like almost like he's scolding her for something. And so it's going to be interesting to see the dynamic of the villains. And then
I've never seen a scene with them on at the same time, so.
There's a shot where literally he's standing in front of her and she's like being admonished almost. But
if that's true, then I think what's going on is I think Thrawn is saying, if I had known Ahsoka and them were alive, I need these people to help me out. Why would you be fighting them? You know what I mean? They have to be our allies. And Morgan going, what the hell? What do you mean they have to be our allies?
Like, so what I'm really interested in is what change. So do we see Shin turn on Balin? Is Sabine gonna get in her head and make her turn on Balin, or is Balin gonna turn? I'm waiting for that dynamic to play out, because the actress.
Why would they turn on each other?
So the actress
father and daughter. So I don't think that's gonna happen at all.
They're not related. I definitely think. So the way the actress who plays Shin described it is that by the end of this season, we're going to see Shin step out and become her own person. We haven't seen that yet in this show.
Why would you even watch something like that?
They might both.
I don't want to know that.
It's just interviews with the cast. So
why would you even watch interviews with the cast before you watch the show? What's wrong with you people?
I have shows to do like this and talk about things. Yeah, all that she said is that you're going to see this character
obligated with non-disclosure agreements to not say things like that. So they don't say things like that. So if anyone says that an actor says something that spoils the thing, it doesn't happen. It doesn't happen. They don't do that, or they get fired.
I still think
people get fired for less.
Some sort of dynamic there, especially after the way that interaction.
If the actress said that, all she meant was that she goes from being a Padawan to being a whatever.
And how do you think that happens? I think she's going to have
not by killing Balin. No, it's just because she.
I think
they don't even know. I think a lot of these actors don't even know what happens in the.
I could even see Sabine being the judge in between.
They have to keep it down the down low,
or maybe one of them kills Sabine.
Grogu rule and.
I don't think Sabine gets killed.
The David Prowse rule, you can't tell people that Vader's Luke's dad.
I'm just saying, I could see it happening. I could see them wanting to have some sort of payoff to this season, and that would be a big way to pay it off without killing somebody else.
Disney Plus subscriptions forever on.
We were saying, Balin is really the question mark from all this, because it's a shame that if Balin doesn't die in this season, then now they have to recast him, or they have to use AI to generate.
Or they have to write him off.
Like you're saying, you're recasting. You don't need to recast when the series is over. That's
all these characters are going to continue.
You don't need a Band-Aid if you don't have a blister.
But all of these characters and all these things are going to continue. So whether you guys think there's going to be a second season or there's not, all these characters are in Mando in the movie. They're all going to be in the movie. If you think they're not, you're out of your mind. We'll probably even get a recast Luke, Leia, and Han.
I don't think there's room for Thrawn, Gideon, Balin, Shin.
No, they will.
Gold Stormtroopers, Witch
Lady. That's what I'm saying. So do you deal with? You're going to have to deal with some of those characters now in this end. That's what I'm saying.
guy
You're
from,
gonna have to deal with
there's not
some of
room
these-
for all those villains.
Rick, you're talking like someone who would have previously said, "There's no way they're going to do Endgame and have all the heroes and all the villains in one movie." It's like, yes, they do. That's what they
There's
do
not
these
all
days.
the villains. There was one villain in Endgame.
That's what they do these
there was a
days.
lot.
They're
Who are
going
all
to
the
have
villains?
everybody
you can't
you've
have
seen.
more villains than heroes.
Everybody
But
you've
can't.
seen in every Star Wars Disney TV show is going to end up in one culminating movie that ends up at the end. It's their version of Endgame. It's their version of Rise of Skywalker. They're going to put everybody in.
They'll all be
to
in
the
it.
end.
Not in that general as you're describing it, where like Kenobi and Andor and Zeb and Ahsoka and
Kenobi,
Commando. No, it's
everybody in Andor's
not
dead,
any way
and
like
Kenobi's dead.
the Mandalorian universe characters will be part of the movie.
And what do you think this is? What do you think
Because
Ahsoka is? The
all this
Mandoverse.
universe revolves around the Favreau Mandoverse and now Filoniverse because of his Ahsoka and cartoon inputs. And then the Skeleton Crew is another series that does take place in exact same timeline, which potentially has some younger Jedi characters and potentially has another villain or two that we don't never heard of, or maybe it's
we've seen the villain. Yeah, we've seen it's the pirate.
But I don't think it's Mando and Grogu and Ahsoka and Sabine all fighting Thrawn and Balin and Shin and Moff Gideon
and that's what I'm saying.
Some robots. It's not. I don't think it's Endgame.
Some of these villains need to get dealt with at the end of this season. And
a high budget 2-hour episode is what it is.
Balin makes the most sense to deal with, and then you have Shin doing whatever she's going to do, and then you have Thrawn and the other threat.
And you rated this? You told me in a message what you rated this, Ed. What do you rate this episode?
15 out of 10.
Illegal. That's illegal. Red flag.
Look, I put this right on par with the Luke episode from Mando as the best live action Star Wars Disney Star Wars that we've seen so far. I put that right up there with.
You're still young.
Andor.
Once you watch Andor, you'll think different.
No,
what about when Ahsoka becomes a Sith? Will she be Ahsoka the Black?
Yeah, right. Yeah.
So Angelina and Ed both want this new Ahsoka figure. I'm sure a lot of people do. You need new figures. Just change your uniform. But they got to change her little Wonder Woman headband.
I'm looking forward to the vintage collection version. You guys can have your Black Series versions. I just
want the retros.
Yeah, in a retro one.
So
is that retro one they showed us now not real? Like it's not really going to be gray. It's going to be white, right?
Oh no, they're going to get you. They're going to get you 2 times over. You kidding me? They're going to do that gray, and then they're going to do
because the new retro one looks just like the old retro one.
It does. There's no difference.
It was like they didn't change it. So
same thing they did with the Black Series.
Placeholder.
John, good point. I bet you.
And that's why it's not released yet. Yeah,
you're right because all the other figures from that wave
come this week.
Or sorry, this is the Book of Boba Fett wave. So John, good point. Maybe they do change that one up. But then again, they don't tell Kenner these secrets in advance. We know that.
The Ahsoka stuff is street dated there's 3 waves of Star Wars, at least Black Series. I don't know TVC and what's coming out with that, but Black Series, there's 3 waves slated to drop within a week span. So get your wallets ready because from the 15th to the 23rd are the release dates for the Return of the Jedi wave, the last wave with Luke, R2, Crimson Guard, and
Royal Guard.
Royal Guard. I always do that.
It's okay, that's why us older guys here. We know.
But so that wave is coming. We have the Ahsoka wave, which I already have, is coming. And there's Malgus, Chris Stanton, and one other one that are releasing at that time.
I've seen some reviews of Chris.
Ago.
Oh, okay.
He's somewhere around here, Malgus. He's in a pile.
Malgus just shipped this week. From
I think Malgus is like a centimeter taller than Cranston, which is really.
Yeah, he looks fantastic. The figure looks awesome,
I still want him.
Huge upgrade from the first one that they did. But I don't understand why he's shorter than Chewie because he's supposed to be bigger than Chewie.
This one?
Yeah. So that didn't get a general release yet. Some places got it early and shipped it out. But
I haven't seen them in my GameStop yet, but I haven't been there.
I think I ordered them from Pulse.
He's supposed to come out next. Like I'm getting him tomorrow from Amazon, but
Gotcha.
the GameStop release is slated for the 23rd, I believe. So, like I said, there's like a week window for GameStop. If you look at the release dates, GameStop has like boom, 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 like within a couple of days of each other. So it's interesting to see that we're gonna get like slammed with stuff, but I'm cool with it.
So before I ask Ed, because I know Ed will explain longer than me or John would, I'm going to ask John. We have 3 episodes left in this series. So let's just say, let's speculate and say there is no season 2 planned for 2030 or whenever it would be. There's 3 episodes left, and then we know there's a movie coming up later. How do you think, or, any Super John theories, what do you think is going to happen in these next 3 episodes of the Ahsoka show?
Well, that's what I was getting at. It seems difficult for me to wrap my head around. Like, I thought there was only going to be like 2 episodes because I feel like you only need 1 to finish what's going on. But so I'm like, what do you do for 3 episodes? So I think I'm kind of leaning towards Ahsoka is going to get over there and she's not going to see. It's not like she's going to pop out of the whale and there's the Chimera.
Yeah.
I think there's got to be some kind of almost like hunt over there. Like maybe she bumps into whatever the bad guys are, the Yuzan Vong or whoever the bad guys are that are in that galaxy first, and then they find the. I don't know. It's like a.
I could almost see
like, what do you do for 3 episodes now? But I think like she's eventually going to get on that ship. We're going to see Thrawn and her interact in some way. She's going to be like, where's Sabine? Like, do you have her or whatever? They're going to bring out Sabine. And it's kind of like, I mean, and then somewhere in that mix, you got to bring out Ezra. Because I don't see a whole lot of like, I can't get in my head like why would there be any kind of battles right now? Like I can't see like her running on the ship and doing a lightsaber battle with Thrawn and him sending out these droids to fight for him and do this whole action-packed thing for 2 or 3
I can see that. I don't see a war happening, but I do see plenty of one-on-one battles.
Like I was saying to you, I can see that transpiring and like Ezra intervening at that point, and that's how we get left for the season. I could see that.
But that would only be 1 episode. Right? What do you do for 3?
Thrawn's trained in what's the
Thrawn's showing up next episode.
No, I know, but I mean,
he's
not
I don't think they're going to wait 3 episodes.
He's trained in that martial arts to combat it. That Maul trained Kira and Palpatine. I forget the name.
We have Balin and Shin and all the HK droids.
Well, that's what I was saying. I think that's to get deal with. Yeah, I think they get dealt with before we get Thrawn and Ezra.
I'm assuming Thrawn has his own separate of like just troopers, army builders. I'm sure he's got an elite force of some kind, 1 or 2 or 4 or whatever. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Super troopers, whatever you want to call them.
You were
there is
talking
rumors.
about,
I'm not going to spoil anything, but
I was just about to talk about that.
He's got his own crew of.
I was just about to talk about that though. You had brought up a couple of weeks ago that you had heard the rumor of Thrawn having like undead troopers. Do you think
in the trailer?
Do you think it's possible that Morgan, so like we saw with Marak last week, that he was just Night Sister magic pretty much?
Oh, absolutely. They're all magic in my opinion.
Do you think that's what she does though? Like, and those are his troopers, is she brings back the Chimera crew as like zombie troopers because, using the Night Sister magic. That I could see.
I partially think that, yes, there's going to be some green magic with a K involved in some kind of troop building for the bad guys, but I also think there's a definitely good chance that there's existing living troops on Thrawn's
why would they all be dead?
ship. If Thrawn's ship has hundreds and thousands of crew members, I don't think they all died in light space.
They might have not. Yeah, they might have
all died when they got to New Galaxy. So there's maybe they did. We don't know. Maybe they've already been. 10 years have gone by.
Yeah.
So that's where I'm kind of wondering is like, they going to explain Ezra where he's been for 10 years? Because I don't think we need to know
No,
What
Ezra's
Thrawn's
been with
doing
Thrawn for
but
10 years.
Ezra's
Why do you need to
a
know?
loved rebel.
See,
We
I
want to know where he's been for 10 years.
I could also see though, John, like John was saying, like so. I could also see them doing where Ahsoka gets there and finds Ezra first, and then
Yeah,
you
or
almost
that, yeah.
and you almost get Ezra and Ahsoka going to find Sabine and Thrawn,
Yeah.
and like that's how you drag out these last 3 episodes. I could see that too.
That could happen too, yeah.
I still, to me, like ever since this show was announced and like what the whole plot line was, I've always envisioned it with that, like what we were explaining. Ahsoka goes to do the killing blow. Last minute, she stopped, and you just end it right there and leave us hanging. And then maybe we get
we all forgot though that
a one shot or something of
Chopper
Thrawn
threw the
and
tracking device on that big donut Eye of Sauron ship.
Yeah.
So maybe you can't track through to another galaxy, but once Ahsoka gets that galaxy, maybe there's a secret scene we didn't see where Hera gave Ahsoka here's the tracking beam for that ship.
Or maybe Hera.
Otherwise, why did they track it? Like,
yeah. No, I agree. Yeah.
They got there and they're too late, and now Hera didn't get into whale mouth and travel on light speed with Ahsoka.
Still kind of
surprised me.
Yeah.
So, what I expect in the next 3 episodes is lots of Balin and Shin.
Yeah.
I don't know if we're gonna get like flashbacks showing them younger. Maybe
I just need some explanation. That's it. I need little breadcrumbs.
They better not wait to show Thrawn anymore. There's 3 episodes left, so the most it's going to be is
he's in the next episode.
Yeah, I think we get him at
thought he was going to be in this episode too. Like,
yeah,
I kind of knew that he
the
was.
last episode they took off in a ship.
Yeah.
So we assume at the beginning of this episode, they arrive in a ship.
Yeah,
I didn't know. I expected this all-in world between worlds.
Next week we're not going to see Ahsoka and the droid and the whale. It's because they're traveling. They're traveling for that whole episode. So I really hope that episode concentrates heavily on the bad guys.
Balin, Shin, and
we go to that other galaxy. We learn the other galaxy stuff.
And then
we get a little side story of Sabine getting Hera getting her general duty revoked and
some sort of information
on there, and somehow the New Republic becomes the new order.
Oh, actually, that's what's going to happen. No, that's what's going to happen. Next episode's going to be all about Hera getting scolded by the New Republic, and we're not going to see anything from the other galaxy at all. It's all just going to be here dealing with Hera and Chopper and the New Republic. And then it's going to be the second episode will be like Thrawn and them maybe talking about stuff, and Ahsoka won't even be in it. And then the last episode, Ahsoka and Thrawn will finally meet. That's how you get 3 more episodes out of this show. Yeah,
you're not wrong. I definitely agree. I think I hope for our sake that we do learn a lot more about Balin and Shin. If we don't for whatever reason, I hope that there's plans for a book. I hope that there's plans for Tales of the Jedi episodes about them. Something, because they are the most intriguing.
I will throw this Ahsoka action figure off my 7th story balcony to her doom.
They are
see Balin and Shin next week.
They
but
are.
I have a feeling at the end of this whole series, like episode 8, we're in for a banger of a cliffhanger.
Yeah,
that's going to go for years. Like, we're going to see a whole season of Mando. We're going to see 3 more seasons of Boba Fett and Kenobi and
the Acolyte, the Skeleton Crew, Bad Batch season 3.
Episode 8 of Ahsoka is going to end with a huge banger of a cliffhanger because it's already kind of showed us it knows how to do that. Filoni's showing us with Bad Batch after several seasons. He knows how to do a cliffhanger. So that's what I think. We're going to have a doozy.
And I think Bad Batch could tie into all this too. That's a very well possibility that we could see Omega or Crosshair or one of these, some of those characters come to live action as well. That's a very real possibility.
So I still got high hopes, man. I really enjoyed last night's episode. I've only watched it twice. If I watch it a third time, it might just be to see the Anakin scene again because I had so much fun with that. But my second time watching took longer because I took the screenshots. But yeah, man, best episode 5, best of the series so far, and last week's was pretty damn good, so it had to step up. And I'm not a Ahsoka lover, as y'all know. I'm really enjoying this series, man. It's again, I think it can still give me some stuff that I want. Y'all know what I want. I think it's gonna happen. I'm looking forward to next week, man. I really am. There's nothing else good to watch, so it better be good.
This whole series is after Mandalorian season 3, even.
Yeah.
The whole thing has been in order from Mandalorian season 1 through Book of Boba Fett through Ahsoka. It's all been in order, Geek Dino.
This is the exact same time.
No, this is going. Ahsoka's taking place the same time season 3 of Mandalorian is taking place. So
yeah, it's all been in.
That's why they don't know about Bo. They don't know about any of that yet until.
But it's even after season 3 of Mando. Like it's not like.
Yeah, no, it's not like going on exact same time. But yeah, they're right there with one another.
One thing I think is missing though is the king of all the Jedis and all the galaxies. He's just leave him alone.
You saw what happened to him.
Luke, nothing. He's not dead.
No, he just went to an island and felt sorry for himself. That's Luke's legacy.
No, right now he's training Yoda.
It don't matter. We know what happens to him. He's a washed up old man on an island by himself, bitter.
That's all getting retconned next week.
I hope so. I wish it would, but unfortunately, that's why I find what I was saying earlier about. I find it so hard
the story of the Skywalker saga.
I find it so hard to care about anything like having to do with Luke anymore, simply because of that. Like that he ends up going against everything that he ever stood for and becoming a little bitch and hiding on an island. Like. I still don't like that. That's why I hate that movie so much. Like it's really like so out of place and so out of character that like
Last Jedi wrecked everything. It was terrible.
And you look back like even at Mando, like he's not even that Luke in Mando. So like to think that okay, in a 20-year span, this guy goes from trying to save the whole galaxy and like rebuild the Jedi Order to trying to kill his nephew over a bad dream and then goes in exile. Like, I still hate that. I will always hate that.
I agree.
You know what I mean, though? Either way, like, to me, the only way he gets there is if at some point you introduce Mara Jade and you kill her off. You do other things to Luke along the way to get him there.
They have a child and the child gets killed. You know what I mean?
You know what I mean? Something along those lines. He's got to suffer more to get to that point, and like we haven't seen any of that. So for me, it's still just like almost when they involve Luke, it's just kind of like okay, like
Dino. She heard rumors of Thrawn coming back, and that Morgan was looking for a way to bring Thrawn back. So that's what she was referencing in The Mandalorian.
Yeah,
that's why she had that fight with Morgan and asked her
whole entire thing to get her on the search for Thrawn.
Yeah.
She's looking
what you saw in Mando season 2 is what started
Thrawn
this.
And Ezra took off beside the space whales, not inside them, beside them. So that's why I'm kind of
they were tangled up in the tentacles. The thing wrapped the tentacles
inside their mouth, right?
The tentacles wrapped around the ship,
but they weren't inside their mouth like they are now.
No,
Thrawn. No. But Thrawn was actually held by the tentacles. Thrawn. They broke
Ezra
through.
Also rode it like a bantha in one of the cartoons.
I want to see that. I told you that at the beginning.
I want to have to be inside it or outside it. So that's why it's a little weird when they can hyperspace by the Ghost and 3 X-Wings and they just they go fly away and they don't go with them when it's a freaking donut.
Yeah, but that makes
sense.
Attached to it.
There's no clamps. We don't know yet because they haven't. We've never seen.
I'm still with John. I think that's what that's for, is so the Chimera can dock.
It's not just a Chimera. Like you guys have to understand the size of this thing. The whole fleet at the same time will go inside that circle ship, not just one diamond ship. When he's got 84.
Do you know how big a Star Destroyer is, Frick?
Yes, you know how big that donut ship was. They showed it to scale to like
the Chimera is a big ass Star Destroyer.
4 times the size of the Millennium Falcon. And yet it's like a speck of dust. It's like the Death Star size. The thing is freaking massive, man. So it's pointless. What are they going to take? 92 trips back with Star Destroyers?
They might.
No, they don't. Because they take years.
I think it's just big enough to
I really see it.
Wait till you see.
of TV
Do you remember?
waiting time.
Do you remember when you saw Plo Koon's ship or Obi-Wan's ship connected to that hyperspace ring?
Yep.
Right, and he would detach and then fly away in the triangle ship. Okay, that's what you're going to see. You're going to see a big round thing with the Chimera docked in the middle.
Okay,
and
so
the Chimera is going to be
explaining to me
the Chimera is going to be the size of Obi-Wan's ship relative to
how
that ring.
good of a logistic decision is that to do one vehicle at a time?
What do you mean at a time? How did he get the other Star Destroyers over there?
Is it's the same size as a standard Star Destroyer, and
I
only one ship will fit in it. I think the whole fleet can fit inside there.
I don't think there is a fleet
and
anymore.
they turn on the lasers or whatever.
I think it's just the Chimera.
Yeah, it's just the Chimera. What fleet?
There's no danger to anyone with one frickin' spaceship.
Because when he gets back to this,
you know what I mean?
Oh my
Why would anyone?
You're not paying attention at all, are you? Have you watched any of these shows, Rick?
So Pally and them were taken too.
They haven't shown him yet, so none of them is.
No, but we've seen Pelion be there, and he was trapped up in the fleet that got taken with the Purgils, but he didn't jump. His fleet got thrown someplace, and he ended up still in our universe. He just didn't take the ride. So as far as we know, every other ship in that fleet got wiped the fuck out, except maybe the Chimera.
Well,
what only the Chimera.
No, we don't. I'm just
and what they're worried about is if Thrawn comes back with the Chimera, all of the remnant empire will form up under Thrawn. Yeah. That's where Thrawn would
all those people that are in the government of the New Republic, like we were saying earlier. That's what the Shadow Council was fighting about. Is they don't have somebody in charge of them to unite them. They're all bickering and infighting with one another, trying to seize the power for themselves. So if Thrawn comes back, being that he's a Grand Admiral, he's the highest rank there is and left. He outranks even Moff Gideon. That's where I can see like them all uniting under him, not realizing whatever his end game is. But I almost have a feeling. So like in Heir to the Empire, Rook was the downfall that killed Thrawn, right? Rook's already dead in our canon universe. I could very easily see the real Moff Gideon, because I still think he's alive. I could almost see him playing that role in this grand scheme of the thing where, like, he's going to be the one to kill Thrawn.
I just have a feeling we're not going to see Moff Gideon in this Ahsoka universe. Like,
not for a long time. Yeah, no, I don't see.
I do think that character is still a fact.
I think we could see him play into whatever the movie storyline's going to be. Like, I think he could be the person to kill Thrawn eventually in the you know, if that's the route they go, Heir to the Empire. You know, if they go the other way, I could see a whole different story play out. But if they go Heir to the Empire,
we already know they're going a way different story than Heir to the Empire, because things are already way different. There's
hope so.
Luke, Han, and Leia, and Boba Fett and IJDA, those are all part of these stories too, right?
I still think
are not canon anymore. The legend stories.
Luke, Leia, and Han, but I don't think it's going to be Luke, Leia, and Han that you guys remember. Like, I think we're going to see Aiden as Han. I think we'll see Sebastian Stan or the stand-in guy be Luke, and then I could see either Billy Lord or
Luke has been established. Yeah, Luke has been established from what we've seen to be, a mix between Mark Hamill and that
other guy,
another great Canadian actor portraying him.
Yeah,
I just because they threw the name Organa out there made me like, if I could show her.
So I really want Billy
and hear her voice over the PA or something, like I'll be happy with that. Just to know
with her daughter. Yeah,
Dave didn't forget, what this universe came from. Like,
it
would be a cool little.
No, I definitely think we see them, but I don't think we see them all CGI. Like, I could definitely see Alden coming back to play Han, and I could see somebody else playing Leia, whether it's Billy Lord, her daughter, or it's the chick from Stranger Things, Millie Bobby Brown.
I think that would all got leaked.
I
heard there is a character.
No. I think in the movie. I think when the movie comes, I think we see. So, like, we never got that moment of them all together. Again, in the sequel trilogy, I think Dave gives us that moment in his movie. I think that's a gift.
If they still give Dave the movie.
I think
I
after
think that,
there could be a new president at Disney in 2 weeks, man.
yeah, I think Filoni is in line for that Kathleen Kennedy job. Honestly,
I don't know. So
you
by
think he
next
would
week,
give up? You think he would give up making films? You really do think?
oh
so?
no, I think he would still want to make the films and just run the position differently. He could almost let somebody do the corporate side and him still be in the creative aspect. I could see almost
remember,
a James
he is a
Gunn.
rookie, right? He's still a rookie.
Yeah. I'm just saying, I could see almost a James Gunn and the other guy. Like that's how they're doing things. Where Gunn is the creative aspect and still working on the things, but
I guess
overseeing.
that's kind of like how George was during his stuff. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
George would write and direct some of them, but then he would hand it off on other aspects to other people.
And Dave's already doing that in-house with even Tales of the Jedi. He said Tales of the Jedi Season 2, he kind of wanted to take his hands off of it and let some of these people that are under him grow. And like, so he's even doing what George did for him. And so I really have seen those aspects come out in this show so much where like Dave in a way this is his love letter to George, this whole show. Like,
yeah.
All these things that we're referencing between Anakin and Ahsoka, it's the same things between Dave and George. We're seeing it. You know what I mean? Like it's very cool to see that he hasn't forgotten where he's came from. He's teaching that to the people that are under him, that what George taught him. So like as long as Dave's around, Star Wars can stay under this umbrella that we've all grown and loved it on, and we're not getting the sequel trilogy bullshit where I want to do something totally out of the box, you know,
I love my Star Wars from Dave Filoni's cartoon.
No, but I'm saying
everyone knows that that's just Ways of the Sith's opinion. And
No, that's my opinion too, Rick.
I'm talking about you.
Even being an original trilogy lover who basically only buys toys from the original trilogy,
more or less.
You know what I mean? I think that Dave Filoni needs to be in charge of Star Wars. I think that
I think
I do. I think he is the greatest.
But what
if you don't have George, if you don't have George Lucas in control, you gotta have Dave Filoni.
George's still alive. He's richer than all these people. He can buy Mickey Mouse and turn him into freaking Yoda.
No, he can't.
So Ed, by next week, you're gonna have a custom Ahsoka the White figure. Confirmed?
No. So
Vern will be on the show.
I came close to buying one, the cloak today, but I have an issue
like the old Kenner employees.
So like I don't know if you guys. I know John is adamantly against customizing figures. I don't know if you've ever tried to customize.
Put a white sock on it, and it's
no.
What is it?
So white paint is very hard to do on figures. Like you basically either have to.
There's no white you paint. You put a white sock on her.
No, on the whole outfit.
No
if I'm doing it, I'm doing it right. She's wearing white clothes with
you
gray.
You would have to spray paint.
Gray, right?
I'd have to white
primer all over it first. You have to take her completely apart to begin with.
Yeah.
To do it right. Primer the whole thing, paint it all, then put it back together.
Yeah.
Or
so like I'm
24 months for Hasbro to release it.
Yeah. Well, I think we'll see her announced at the at PulseCon at the end of the month. So for those that don't know, we got 3 announcements for exclusives. We have the Star Killer set coming. We have the Hasbro Crimson Guard 3-pack, and then the Power Rangers pack.
Hopefully there's more. Like it's I don't know.
So the press release said something along the lines of 46 new items announced. So between the brands.
We'll all get some reveals of announcements, but I mean, I thought they'd have more than one toy per brand.
Well, that's just the Pulse.
They've had several Black Series for Hascon in the past several.
Well, that's what I'm saying. They usually put up other stuff along with it. It's just these are the exclusives, and then there's other figures that usually go up during the PulseCon. So. Should be cool. I'm interested to see what they got.
So let's cut it off with the 2 hour and 25 minute mark.
Yeah, let's go.
Thank you, Super
John's got to go to
bed. Ed, for joining me. Hopefully, John made a good dinner. It didn't get too cold. And I'm gonna leave you with the best scene from the episode. See everyone next week. Thank you.
Bye.
Anakin. Anakin. You look the same.
You look old.
Really old. See you later, everybody.
All right. See ya.